and investment, and call Preserve Services instead. Our Preserve team excels in interior and exterior painting and home repairs. We're your one-stop shop in the Triangle for jobs you need done, but don't want to tackle. And get this, you don't pay a penny until the job's done. Schedule today at PreserveServices.com.
At First Carolina Bank, we pride ourselves on building relationships and doing the day-to-day things in banking extremely well. Experience the First Carolina way for yourself or your business today. Visit firstcarolinabank.com. First Carolina Bank, member FDIC.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
The tight end position to me, and it's not because I played it, it's because of how it changes the run game. When you have one that can block a defensive end like an offensive lineman and run routes and catch the football, it's different now. And not a lot of teams have that. So I'm excited for that position group to be integrated with what we have at the other spots. That position group helps our offense. And you know, running the football is something I take a lot of pride in. I don't think we've been as good as we can be over the last 3 years. We got to get back to where we control the ground the way we want to.
It's the Adam Gold Show. How is everybody? I am Adam Gold. You can always peek in at the show. You can eavesdrop on the show visually. YouTube, search Adam Gold Show, search 99.9 The Fan. Either way you get to us. I am him. Victoria is here. Welcome to the college football season.
Yes.
Starts tonight.
It does.
And we are from tonight all the way through Monday night. We have supreme focus. Raleigh tonight, East Carolina, NC State. Also, Duke will play against Elon. We've got Wake Forest and Kennesaw State. That game is tomorrow. Might be tonight. Have to look at it. Sorry,
a lot going on.
Apologize to my my Demon Deacon friends. I'll get to it. But tomorrow we've got App and Charlotte down at Bank of America Stadium. That should be fun. Look, Charlotte's got a first-year head coach. App's got we got a lot of first-year head coaches. Blake Harrell, who was the head coach at East Carolina, took over with 5 games left in the season last year. Won four in a row, then lost to Navy. Then, of course, won the bowl game. I think, Wake, Kennesaw State's tomorrow. Then won the bowl game against NC State, and, of course, we all know what happened at the end of that. And we will obviously discuss that. But we've got first-year head coaches everywhere.
I know.
And we've got pressure on Dabo Sweeney, pressure on James Franklin, pressure on
Dave Doeren.
There is
for
pressure.
This game.
No, it goes beyond this game. This game is to me is an indicator, but it goes beyond this game. And I'll get into it in a minute. But I think there is a different type of pressure on Dave Doeren. Now, before we move on, there's always pressure. There is internal pressure. Nobody puts more pressure on coaches or players than they put on themselves. So this is not about what I say or what anybody else says or what anybody else writes. There is internal pressure to perform, to succeed. But in a big picture, and we'll talk about the unique ways and reasons that there is, I think this is a very, very big year for NC State. We'll get into all of that. We're going all over the place. We might even leave the country.
Yeah.
In our first segment. We got a lot to do today. Dave Harding's going to join us from Duke. They open tonight. Stephen Igo from Hoist the Colors covers East Carolina. I haven't spoken to him in a minute. I was looking at my text thread with him, and the last time that he and I communicated via text
a while ago
was 23.
Oh, wow.
Like, how did that happen? So, anyway, we're going to talk to him about the game tonight. Tomorrow, I can tell you right now, Corey Smith from Pack Pride is going to join us tomorrow. We've talked state football with Tony Haynes earlier this week, trying to touch as many bases as we can. Trip Tracy is going to drop by.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm excited for that. The Hockey News has their yearbook, right? So, and a blurb about teams and whatnot, which is, by the way, written by our friend Luke DeCock of the News and Observer. But but we're less than a month away from training camp. The Prospect Showcase is in like 3 weeks. So, right when that's over, boom, we're ready to go. And right now, and I know this has been kind of chewed around on Kane's Twitter regarding the interview we did with Rod Brindamore that dropped. We did the interview like 9 days ago, but it dropped and was available for everybody to watch on Monday. And I know people have enjoyed it, as they should, because Rod's amazing. And we talked about center, and I said this yesterday, and I said it on a podcast I did a couple of weeks ago, and I'll say it until I'm proven otherwise. Still think that when we get to the start of the season, I still think Jesperi Kotkaniemi is going to ultimately have the opportunity to become the second scoring line center. I mean, I'm not going to editorialize that, good or bad. I'm just saying I believe he will start the season with that opportunity for like the third straight year. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But that's where we are today, because as we said in the offseason, 31 of 32 teams think they're making the playoffs and making a run. Right now, there's only one team that knows that they're not going to be in the mix, and they have one of the best players on the planet in Sidney Crosby. The Pittsburgh Penguins were the only team who was actively looking to shed players. It's amazing. And they'll do so again throughout the season, I promise you. I don't believe any of those players will be named Sidney Crosby, though, which is an unfortunate thing for, I don't know, maybe the Hurricanes. All right, lots to do, so let's roll.
Let's get it started.
All right, so we're going to start game night right here at Carter Finley Stadium. Parking lots open in less than 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
All right. Well,
7 o'clock start, 4 hours prior to the game. The parking lots are scheduled to open, but
people will be there.
I would be shocked if people are not already there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, what I saw in terms of the official structure and allowances, 2 o'clock parking lots will open. It is the second straight meeting between NC State and East Carolina, coming off the Military Bowl clash, which of course was a 26-21 Pirates win. And that game featured, as you are well aware by now, if weren't aware at the beginning, because you know how much it annoys the head coach, not so much the loss, that annoys him, but also the behavior after the game, which Dave Doeren has worn.
It started minutes after the game in that locker room and has been continuously talked about with this football team. Obviously, it's going to be brought up the week of the game, but it's something that's been going on a long time. The standards and the culture of this football program on and off the field are to do things a certain way. And how you react versus respond is part of maturity, and two wrongs don't make a right. It doesn't matter what somebody else does. It's how we respond to what happens. And in a game, in life, it's all the same. And so just having the maturity, the leadership, obviously as coaches doing our part to educate. But yeah, it's an ongoing topic that it's not just college football. And we met with Troy Vincent from the NFL as an ACC head coaches group, and he talked about the same thing. They were disappointed with how their guys reacted at times in the league last year. And a lot of the things that you saw penalized in the NFL were penalized in college football. And, it's about respecting the game. It's a gladiator sport. It's a tough guy's sport, no doubt about it, but there's also a way to do it.
I love the accountability from Dave Doeren. We're not blaming anybody else. It's us. How do we react? I tell you may tell your kids the same thing all the time. It's not that you've done something wrong. How do you react to being called out? How do you move on from it and correct the mistakes? To me, way more important than whether or not you screwed something up. We all screw things up. All right, now, because it's the next game, back-to-back games, State and East Carolina, does this opener feel bigger?
Well, it feels different because of how we acted at the end of the season. To me, we didn't live up to the privilege we have to be at this university, to work at this university. And it starts with me. I said that after the game. And so it's an opportunity to go play. And it is about who we're playing, obviously, because you have to know their personnel and their coaches and their schemes. It's always going to be about who you're playing. This is way more about how we play and how we carry the torch for this university and the reputation we want to have as a program. And so I do think that makes it different. We have played them back-to-back before, that was written about. I read one of the articles. So it's not new to play someone back-to-back. We've done that, but it's more about us than anything.
Okay, I'm not sure when it was back-to-back, but it doesn't really matter. These games are back-to-back, and I think it will be a great environment at Carter Finley Stadium. We'll give you one more clip from Dave Doeren, then we'll go through some nuts and bolts about the game. And we'll start with what he is expecting on a Thursday night opener.
I'm a big fan of it. Anytime you can create additional space in the schedule for what's next, it helps. And so opening on a Thursday obviously gives you more recovery and lead time to game 2, regardless of who that is. And for the fans, I think, a Thursday night, as you guys know, is pretty electric in Carter Finley. So getting that to be a weekday game makes it a night game. And so that helps also for a variety of reasons. But and then it's always a holiday weekend, and I think it helps our fans to be able to have their Labor Day weekend, where they can go do the things they would do, with their families. And so there's a lot that goes into that. But, being selfish as a coach, it's always, for me, I love having, that Friday, Saturday extra, to heal up and get these guys refocused on game 2.
All right. I do remember a time where State struggled to sell tickets to one of those games in Atlanta, those preseason games in Atlanta. And State, there were many State fans who were like, well, we were going to go to the beach. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But this allows you to do both. So enjoy it. Should be fun tonight. The Pac have won 19 of the 33 games all-time versus East Carolina. First time they met was 1970. Blake Harrell, again, starting his first full season as head coach. He won 5 of the 6 games, including the bowl game. Carter Finley should be absolute bonkers. State's, to me, a little under the radar. And here's where we get to where I think there is some additional pressure beyond the norm on Dave Doeren. Down the road, where all the attention is being paid right now, everything is, what is Bill Belichick going to do? You can run the risk of being overrun in terms of media attention. It's important for State to remind everybody that they play good football and that they are capable of winning a lot of games. Again, the hallmark of NC State's football program to this point in, 13 years of Dave Doeren. They are putting a lot of guys in the NFL. A ton of guys in the NFL. It is, and Doeren referred to the way they run the program. incredibly well-run program. Everything about NC State football represents the university and the fan base top level. The one thing missing, a lot of wins. It's the one thing missing. And yes, it is in many ways the most important part, right? Not in all ways, but in many ways the most important part. Haven't yet gotten the most out of a given season under Dave Doeren. Heck, Larry Fedora won 11 games. Fedora's program was it was less than ideal. But he won 11. I want to see NC State have one of those seasons where they get the most out of it. So I think to that, especially with everything that's going to be said, written, talked about UNC under Bill Belichick, this would be a great year for Dave Doeren and company to remind everybody that their program has been the best in the triangle over the last however many years. They just haven't maxed out the win total. Now, quickly, one thing that I think will help NC State that will also help East Carolina. For the first time in 3 seasons, the Wolfpack have a returning quarterback. It's not somebody they plucked out of the portal to take them to the next level. And both of their last 2 quarterbacks, for varying reasons, haven't been able to do that. C.J. Bailey, big year for him. As he goes, the Wolfpack's offense will go. Hopefully he will be better in the beginning of games as opposed to a year ago when they struggled early, fell behind, and had to rally. All right, now to East Carolina. Caitlin Hauser at quarterback. All right, they're undergoing a lot of change too. There's a lot of new faces there as well. We will see if ECU can back up what they did a year ago. And I said, you might hear this on a commercial somewhere, and we're going to talk more extensively about ECU with Stephen Igo at the top of the hour. So I'm not going to get into too much detail here about the Pirates. I think this will be a much more competitive game than maybe Vegas thinks, which is essentially a 2-touchdown spread. I think we're talking about a 1-possession game, and I think we're talking about a game that leans towards the defensive. I think the total is like 61.5. I saw it today. I don't think we're going to touch that. I don't. I think we're going to be, mid-20s maybe for a winner. But I think we're going to have a fun game. Similar final score to what we saw in the Military Bowl. Duke hosts Elon at Wallace Wade Stadium. We made fun of the Manny Diaz clip yesterday. Not the clip. Not Manny Diaz saying that we were undervalued or it was insulting to only pick Duke 6th, which I don't find that really insulting. But it was a question that I asked him, and he goes, "Oh, who cares what anybody else thinks?" But I get it. It's a show. You were pandering to your Duke fans because it was the coach's show. But it was cool. They were friend zoned.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Great comparison.
Yes. All right, to the Panthers, who begin the post-Adam Thielen era 11 days from now in Jacksonville. I want to start with Bryce Young here. Bryce, who now does not have his security blanket. We have to get the marketing folks on that.
I know.
Victoria.
We do. It was great.
It was just so good. I tried to explain it to Aileen last night, and I realized that she's not dialed into the whole security blanket thing, so I'm not.
Yeah, it didn't click.
It was going to take way too long. I just went, you know what?
Never mind.
You don't really care, and it's going to take too long to get there, so never mind. Just drop the conversation.
Yeah.
All right, here's Bryce Young without Adam Thielen.
Obviously, that's, it's part of the business. Someone who obviously has meant so much to us over these last couple of years on the field, but even more off the field. You guys get to see the Sundays, but what he's meant to the team, just in the locker room, the leader he's been, all that stuff. It's stuff that it's part of the business. I get. We're always gonna be close. I'm always gonna be rooting for him and his success. So. But with that being said, we're the Panthers obviously, and I have all the confidence in the world in the group that we have here in the receiver core and the offense. It's we have a lot of young guys that are ready to step up, ready to keep going, guys that are hungry, that are working hard. So I'm excited for the group.
By the way, real good piece on Panthers.com written by Darren Gant about that dynamic. So go check that out. Even if we're not talking to Darren Gant, I'll tell you where to go find a very cool story on it. Now, from the head coach, and we talked about this yesterday. To me, it's among the reasons that you can trade Adam Thielen, or not that you can trade, that his role would have been somewhat diminished, to me, is the emergence not of Teterow and McMillan, but of Jalen Coker. Here's Dave Canales.
Yeah, it's a big part of it, right? There's guys that we're excited to see play more and to have those opportunities, and Jalen Coker certainly is one of those guys, and that was our message to all of them, right after the decisions were made. It's like, okay, here's an opportunity, guys, and so I'm excited to see, who steps up for us and who plays in those roles.
Yeah, it's going to be Jalen Coker is my guess. We also speculated that with the trade, the Panthers could go out and bring back Hunter Renfrow, who they released the day before.
Right.
And they haven't done that yet, although it's not been ruled out. But they did bring another wide receiver in. And I don't know how to pronounce his name. DeLavon Campbell, who I believe came from Denver. Denver waived him. The Panthers picked him up. I have no idea anything about this guy. We haven't seen him play. Ike Ekwonu, appendectomy.
Yeah.
So questionable, maybe even unlikely for the opener, having not had an appendectomy. I don't know what the normal recovery time is.
Yeah,
but
I know. I've heard I've heard people talk about this, and apparently, if you have a strong core, you can recover faster,
right,
than just us normal people. So hopefully that helps him.
It would take me 2 years. So look, I hope he can play. If not, my guess it will be Brady Christensen step in at left tackle against the Jaguars. All right, shouts to Garner High School here in the Triangle.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk to the Garner High School baseball coach coming up in our third hour. Nolan McLean, graduate of Garner High School, went to Oklahoma State to play football and baseball, ultimately dropped football. Nolan McLean tossed 8 shutout innings, striking out 6, walking no one, as the Mets swept the Phillies in a 3-game series and moved within 4 games of the NL East lead. McLean is 3-0 in his first 3 big league starts with an ERA of 0.89, which means that through 3 games in his Mets career, he is better than Tom Seaver.
Right.
Who is one of the 3 or 4 greatest right-handed pitchers ever.
Means he's real good.
My gosh. Carlos Mendoza is the Mets manager.
I can say it's wow. That was super impressive. He dominated one of the best lineups in the league. He made it look easy. It's just everything about the kid, not only what we're seeing on the mound, but just the way he carries himself, He's got electric stuff, but he's got pitchability. He knows what he's doing on the mound. He knows how to manipulate the baseball. He knows what hitters are trying to do to him. He's not afraid to use all of his pitches. Like he pitches today, When he's behind, he's got the ability to spin the ball and get back in counts. He's not afraid to challenge hitters. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I mentioned this. I was texting back and forth with Elliot Johnson. He can get it up there. His fastball, I think, tops out at 96 miles an hour, which in today's big league baseball ain't all that. I'm not saying it's not great. It's more than adequate. But there are guys who throw 98, 99, 100 all the time, right? That's not Nolan McLean. When you watch Nolan McLean, you see all the other stuff. You see the changing speeds, changing eye angle of hitter. That's what Mendoza means about pitchability. He has nasty movement. We're going to talk to his baseball coach coming up in hour number 3. It's very exciting for the Mets fans, of which I am
sure
one.
You are excited.
Yeah.
Pitching's hard.
It is very hard. And by the way, the Mets have called up another, they might have even called up 2 more rookies. We might get to October and the Mets might only be using rookie starters. I have no clue. All right. Dawn Staley, the head women's basketball coach at South Carolina, it goes Gino Auriemma and Dawn Staley, and we're done in terms of the 2 best coaches in women's basketball. I don't know how many people remember this, but Dawn Staley nearly became the Knicks head coach this year. Now, Mike Brown got the gig. But the Knicks actually interviewed Dawn Staley. I don't know that it became public until recently that she formally interviewed for the job. And according to what I'm reading, her thought is that she might have gotten it, but talked the Knicks out of it. Let me explain this. She said, I would have had to do it, not just for me, but for women. To break that door open, I would have had to. It's the New York Knicks. I'm from Philly, but it's the freaking Knicks. But she posed these questions to management. If you hire me as the first female head coach in the NBA, would it impact your daily job? Because it would. And basically she goes on and she lays every single question you would never had to answer, because if you hired a man, you will have to answer because you have hired a woman. Are you prepared for that? And apparently the Knicks went, nope.
Never mind. Have a good day.
Look, I'm not knocking the hiring of Mike Brown, but I wish the Knicks had done that, had hired Dawn Staley just for the social experiment. I'll say this. I think Dawn Staley's an amazing coach. The transition from college to pro would be more of a problem for her than the fact that she's not a man. But because college to pro coaching is totally different. But she's right. And I don't know if I'm not going to say the Knicks were right. Maybe the Knicks were just scared. Anyway, I got through 4 of the 5 things I wanted to get to, but number 5 is a doozy, and we will get to it later. I promise you. Dave Harding's going to join us, talk Duke Elon, Duke football, Manny Diaz feeling insulted. Next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
ECU Pirates football tonight.
Rajay Harris at the 20, 25, 30 down the left side, 40. He makes a man miss at the 50. Off to the races, 40, 30. A chase is on. 10, 5, touchdown.
You gotta be serious. You gotta be kidding me.
On a handoff.
ECU takes on NC State. Pregame starts at 6. Kickoff at 7 on 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle's home for college football.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Hey everybody, Paul Leihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. FanDuel is giving you a reason to lock into the college football season early. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right. Bet $5 on any bet, and if you win, you'll walk away with $300 in bonus bets to use all over the app. You can use those bonus bets on Week 1 lines, Heisman futures, over-unders, player props, whatever you've got circled on the college football calendar. FanDuel's easy to use, safe, and when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around, no hassle, just straight to your account. So if you've got a team, a take, or a gut feeling before kickoff, now's the time to back it. Head to FanDuel.com/Paul. Sign up to get started. FanDuel.com/Paul. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Is he married to a person or just himself? Because I feel like that's very Aaron Rodgery of him to have the twist in there.
It's a very good question.
So, I don't know. We still don't know if it's a person.
Would he get down on one knee to ask himself over an ayahuasca?
Yes.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. She's also chief DJ here. Dave Harding, Duke Radio Network. There's a much longer title that I just can't, I don't have time to give. Also, former Blue Devil offensive lineman extraordinaire there on the ground floor as David Cutcliffe was really creating the foundation for what we have now under Manny Diaz. He joins us in advance of Duke Elon tonight. Before we get into the game, did you have a favorite Devil song when you were a player or not? Was it this? Was it Devil with a Blue Dress? Was it Friend of the Devil? Did you have a favorite Devil song?
I'm a sucker for Devil with a Blue Dress on, especially when they start playing it in Cameron. I know it's football season, but I think that is a good vibe that it puts out. And interestingly enough, people don't know this. I was born in Chapel Hill, and I always say my life got a heck of a lot better after that.
Wow.
I have to throw the barbs. It's football, but I lived in Durham until I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I remember that song. I didn't know what it meant at the time, but my parents would take us to Duke games, and then when I became a player here, I was like, that's a familiar tune. Turns out it was Devil with a Blue Dress on. So that's my favorite.
All right, I like to hear it. All right, so let's get into Duke Elon tonight. I heard Manny Diaz, and we talked to Manny Diaz last week. And I heard Manny Diaz say that he felt insulted that Duke was only picked 6th by the ACC media in the preseason. And I know that he was just joking around. But I asked him the same question. He says, I don't care. So take me inside the mind of a player. Do you care about any of those things?
Yeah. I mean, Duke is firmly in the friend zone of ACC media. That's a fact. Getting picked right there, the top middle of the pack. I think you do care as a player. And I'm going back to think about like 2013. It just so happens we were picked dead last in the conference. And that definitely played a role in our motivation. Now, do I think that the results would have been different if we were picked 6th or 7th? No. But it was definitely something that we talked about in the locker room and added to the chip on our shoulder. And in my conversations with Manny over the past couple of weeks, that's kind of been a consistent theme. It's talking about the chip on the shoulder of this team, but more so on all the different individuals that make up this team. And there are a bunch of players that were maybe told they're too small, not fast enough, any one of those things. And I mean, let's face it, Duke is a developmental program long-term. So you're going to have guys that maybe were passed up from the top tier blue chip programs and coming to Duke. And when that happens to you, I think it does, instill a little bit of salt in the way that you go about things. And so all you have to do is stir that up a little bit, let the media narrative dig up some emotions, and you can use that to fuel the way that you go about the season. And I think it also works the other way. When thinking about Clemson, perennially pick the favorite. I think that does just as much as getting picked last does, and that you've got this flag to bear as one of the best. There's more of a pressure, I suppose, associated with that. But as much as I'd like to say these media prognostications don't really matter all that much, I think they do.
Dave Harding is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Duke and Elon tonight to open up the college football season. When you say developmental program, what do you? I'm curious. Is that a we're going to develop players who will then go somewhere else, or is it or are you referring to a program as a whole that is still in the growing stages?
I'm referring to more the player development piece and bringing players in that maybe are diamonds in the rough. And Duke actually this year picked up some players that were the diamond, like clear as day. Other programs were fighting to get them. But outside of that, where you're bringing someone in that is a day one starter along the line of scrimmage or a day one starter at a skill position, that hasn't happened all that often at Duke. And I think when we talk about developmental, it's about getting somebody into the pipeline, into the system year after year, getting them stronger, building their body to where, it's their redshirt sophomore year and they are in their prime and ready to go out there and wreck a game. And I think it's important, and this kind of goes off what we talked about last time, Adam, with player retention. Now more than ever, it is difficult to be a developmental program because as those guys start to peak and start to make a name for themselves or show up on tape, other coaches come in and try to poach. So there's definitely a balance that you have to strike between making sure that you're retaining these players while also investing in, I don't want to call it the bottom half of your roster, but that base of your roster, the two deep, that you have to develop so that you've got depth to lean on later in the season when injury is, will at some point come calling, as it always does in football. But also when you're looking at building your roster for the next year. I think it also helps now with the transfer portal windows. You want to have some semblance of a roster to practice with in the spring portion of your year.
Right.
Duke was in this situation last year with no offensive line. And if you're talking about being a developmental program, you are investing in some of those guys and expecting them to return the next year. so that the spring portion of practice, you can focus even more attention on getting them to be game ready where maybe the year before they weren't. But in the NIL era, in this college, the transfer portal world, having a solid two deep at every position is more difficult than it's ever been, because everybody's hungry for building their roster. And if you're not getting the playing time that you think you deserve, you immediately start looking around and trying to go somewhere that will play you. And that definitely makes it challenging to be developmental, if you will.
Dave Harding is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, Executive Director of the Blue Devil Network, officially. So according to Duke University. All right, I want to ask you about Manny Diaz here, because I've had a chance to talk with him several times. We'll just say since the middle of last season, right? We talked to him about a week ago. He talks to me, or he sounds to me. Doesn't talk to me. He sounds to me not like a coach that thinks Duke can be good. He sounds, and he gives off the impression, the aura, to use a modern term for kids, that he knows Duke is good and he expects Duke to take another step. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's exactly the read I get. And I sat in his press conference last week. I've had a chance to see him. I went to his radio show on Tuesday night over the Washington Duke end. That is the vibe I'm getting as well. And I'm in a unique position to be able to match that with, or compare that feeling with what I see at practice. And I understand why he feels that way. I think, first of all, this is a man that believes in his process, believes in the foundations that he has put in place within the program, and he sees a team that's bought into that. Right? I think you don't go 9-4 in your first year without having guys buy into what you're saying. And to go to the developmental piece, David Feely's the strength and conditioning coach. That was one of the few carryovers from the Mike Elko regime, and that guy is just a mad scientist in the weight room, and the players love him. He gets the most out of people, and he changes people's bodies. And this is not a knock on my strength and conditioning coach, but it took me 3 years. I went off to school, and I remember actually in high school, guys would go off to some of these state schools in Florida State, and come back and look like a totally different person, like a machine. Part of it's probably because of how soft and squishy I was when I made it up to Duke, but it took 3 years to see any kind of muscle definition in my arms or legs. That, it's not the case at Duke. Now, these guys are changing their bodies instantly when they get here in this program. It's mind-blowing to see, truly. And I think when we've got those things, you've got some of the retention part that we've talked about, seeing familiar faces back. They have hit on pretty much every person that they got in the portal. And when I say that, I mean, they're going to be starters, big-time contributors across the board. And I think to have a 70% plus hit rate is rare, and they're close to 100% with what they brought in terms of off-season acquisitions. So you put all that together, plus the way they've practiced and the attitude of this team, I think it's understandable why he feels that way. And I'm really excited to see how they fare against real competition. And this is a very special opportunity that they have tonight. Not a knock on Elon whatsoever, but they're not a Power 4 program. And this is a chance to go out and prove to yourself that preparation and the work that you've done over the past month or so has gotten you to a place where you're ready to go, jump right in with a top 15 Illinois team next week.
Yeah.
Get on the road and dare I say, a hostile environment down in New Orleans for the Tulane game. This is a schedule that's stacked up well to build some momentum. And I think if the team executes the way this coaching staff expects them to, it's a team that will make that whatever 6 or 7 preseason ranking somewhat laughable as they get into ACC play. I think they could make a splash.
Yeah, I mean, the first 5 games of the schedule, like, just looking at it objectively, provide an opportunity to open a lot of eyes and also shut a lot of mouths. I mean, and maybe not even in a good way. Illinois, as you pointed out, is very good. Tulane has been mentioned as one of those group of 5 teams to watch as we get closer and closer towards the playoffs. NC State, I think, is going to be pretty good. And then Syracuse only won 10 games last year and effectively eliminated Miami from the playoff. Dave Harding is joining us here, the formerly soft and squishy Dave Harding. So let me ask you, I've got like 45 seconds or so left. Real quick, your read on Duke's offensive line, which for me will determine just how good they are.
I think they're really good. The front 5 is really good. The depth at that position group isn't where I would like it to be. And hopefully it's a group that can stay, healthy throughout the year and build a little cohesion. But, you've got returners that tackle. Brian Parker, the second at right tackle, is as good as you'll find in the conference.
Yeah.
Justin Pickett at guard, 2-time captain. He's 6'7", 320. And that seems small. Like when you walk up to him, he is a mountain of a man. I mean, and just an imposing presence. And then they picked up Jordan Larson, a left guard in the portal that has been playing really, really well. So this is a group with good experience. I think Duke's going to lean on the running game a little bit more for some consistency. Remember last year offensively, very hot and cold.
Yeah.
When things were good, they were really moving the ball. Otherwise, a lot of 3 and outs. And I think they're going to look to establish a run game with that high-powered, deep threat type offense that they like to run to keep some consistency going. So all eyes definitely up front. And then the defensive line is the real deal too, Adam. And
yeah.
I think they make a difference in terms of helping each other out through the offseason. They've had to see each other over and over. Iron sharpens iron. I think these are both really solid groups along the line of scrimmage.
Dave Harding, I know we're going to talk again very soon, my friend. I appreciate your time. Enjoy tonight against Elon. We'll talk to you very soon.
Will do. Sounds good. I'll try not to eat too many desserts. I'll be less squishy the next time we talk.
You brought it up. I would never say you were soft and squishy. But it is now part of your introduction, so for better or worse.
Better than executive director, that's for sure.
Thanks, man. I'll talk to you later. Dave Harding here on the Adam Gold Show. I mean, if you call yourself soft and squishy, I mean, you know me. He knows me better than
I know.
Than to say that out loud.
Well, it's almost sweater weather season, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, it's fine.
I got to find sweaters that fit. All right, when we come back, one-timers, questions and answers, hopefully the right answers.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And FanDuel is giving you a reason to lock into the college football season early. And right now, new customers can bet $5 on any bet. If you win, you will get $300 in bonus bets. That's right. Bet $5 on any game. You walk away and win it. Walk away with $300 in bonus bets. That's their money. Nothing is better than wagering with somebody else's money. And FanDuel's easy to use. It's safe. And when you win, it's there in your account. I occasionally win, and it does show up. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Get started. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Make this your best summer yet by having fun while staying active and engaged. AARP can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's why.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Top of the hour, Stephen Igo, hoist the colors. And we'll get to the State ECU game from the Pirates' perspective. Then after that, Trip Tracy will join us, talk a little Hurricanes hockey. It is the opening of the college football season tonight here locally. Wake Forest goes tomorrow in what should be a romp over Kennesaw State. But right now it's time to ask questions and deliver answers.
Okay, so this is the one from yesterday that Jared had, and I don't know if he's in the chat. Hopefully he is, but this is a great question, so I told him I would bring it up today. First one from yesterday.
Yes.
What's a concession you would love for Lenovo Center to add for Hurricanes games?
Concession? Mm-hmm. My gosh, I'm not down there.
Yeah.
I haven't like purchased a concession in like 3 years. So, man, they have popcorn?
Yeah, of course.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
of course
we have our own popcorn.
We do. It's not great. It's really not great. Man, a concession that what do I like to eat at games? You know what? At Bulls games, I don't even know if they still do it. They used to get the cheese and crackers from Angus Barn.
Okay.
I want those.
Oh, nice.
I want a crock.
Oh, yeah.
Of the cheddar.
Yeah, yeah.
With those crackers that you could actually use to like shingle your roof.
Yeah, I just want to be in a boat of that stuff.
That's amazing. That's what I want.
I know.
That's my answer.
It's so good. Well, I will say one of my favorite things is the nachos with the barbecue on it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. It's so good. So
the barbecue nachos are legit.
Oh, yeah,
I
they
actually
are.
used that in an email to to a buddy of mine.
Yeah, they're too legit
gosh,
to
so
quit.
good.
I think it would be good. It's hard to pick. They have so many good options there, so they kind of cover all the bases. But it would be good if they had like a good panini press station. I thought about this from yesterday because it's cold. So people might want a hot sandwich.
I like that.
I also just like hot
Well,
sandwiches.
the steak sandwich that you can get there.
Oh, that's good too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like it's been a long time since I've gone to the concession stands.
Mhm.
This has got to be 3 years ago. The best $14 you can buy.
Yeah.
You can spend.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it. Next up, so Chef Wolf on our YouTube
Always.
stream. I know, he's kind of throwing a little shade.
Hogging the questions from everybody.
Hey, he came in there first, so it's like, we'll go with his. Now, he always loves to throw some shade. How quick are the ships sinking tonight? Go Pack.
Who ships?
Yeah, exactly.
Who ships? I don't believe. I think it's going to be a dynamite football game. I think not low scoring, but not high scoring, and I think one possession game. The final score of ECU 26-21 from the bowl game. I mean, I think State wins, but I think it's in that neighborhood. 27-21, 24-20, something like that. I think we have a good game.
Okay, and then last but not least, also someone in our stream said deep fried Oreos. So there you go. I don't think that's an option. But from Clayton, do you think NC State will be better at basketball this year, and what will their record be?
What will their record be? I mean, I don't know. A lot and not as many losses. Yes, to me, I expect them to be top 4 in the league. I just do. I expect Will Wade to do that.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the preseason, so me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, are back in the trenches with our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp rolls forward. Insight on the rookies, the fresh free agents and surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Labor Day pool table sale this weekend at Atlantic Spas and Billiards on Glenwood Avenue, Raleigh. Celebrate Labor Day with unbeatable discounts on Olhausen and presidential pool tables, game tables, and more. All floor models on sale as we remodel our showroom in October. In our grill department, save on Kamado Joe and GMG pellet grills. All KJ accessories 50% off. Ping pong, shuffleboard, foosball, and poker tables priced to move. Come to Atlantic Spas and Billiards and save. 8721 Glenwood Avenue, Raleigh. Open Monday through Saturday and Labor Day.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring, the perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
Lowe's knows tough jobs call for tougher tools. The new DeWalt Elite Series power tool accessories are built to last for the pro who doesn't stop. With precision fitment, durability, and impact resistance, finishing jobs faster has never been easier. Shop the new DeWalt Elite Series at an everyday low price exclusively at Lowe's. We help, you save.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call Trajan today, 919-200-4000. That's 919-200-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states, as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
I'm Dr. Miller, a dentist and a volunteer for Dental Lifeline Network. DLN asks dentists to volunteer to see just one patient per year who might not have access to proper oral health care. Join me in making a difference.
Go to willyouseeone.org to learn more.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's almost over, but the heat is pressing on. If you've got battery trouble, stop by AutoZone for free battery testing. It may just need a charge, and we'll do that for free too. If you do need a battery, we've got options starting at just $89.99, and we'll recycle your old battery for free. Now that's a strong start. Don't miss the end of summer sale, now at AutoZone until September 22nd.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
We added T-Mac, so there's another guy that we want to get the ball to, and he's going to have his specific role, and I think it really just comes down to who's going to make the plays. You know, I don't have to get into specific schemes. Adam makes plays. He consistently did that for his career. Certainly last year at the end of the season when he came back to us, he made plays, and so this is just an opportunity for guys to be there and to be available for Bryce, you know, whether it's on a critical third down or whether it's to win the game. You know, these are incredible opportunities for them.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. That, of course, the voice of Dave Canales, Carolina Panthers head coach, talking about life after Adam Thielen. Coming up tonight, Carter Finley Stadium. It's the opening game of the college football season for not just the Wolfpack of NC State, but also East Carolina, and the Pirates are looking to go 2 in a row. Not only 2 in a row overall, but 2 in a row in consecutive games against NC State, coming off the 26-21 Military Bowl win, which was somewhat testy at the end and embarrassing for the Wolfpack. The Pirates have, at the start of this season, essentially a brand new head coach, even though Blake Harrell had been there for the last 5 games of the regular season plus the bowl game and went 5-1. Stephen Igo, hoist the colors, who covers the Pirates, is joining us now to help us make sense of all of it. He's on the Adam Gold Show. I appreciate your time, Stephen. I had mentioned at the beginning of the show that it's been shockingly too long since we have had you on. So let's get into this, because I'm just curious, from the perspective of ECU, how did they view the end of the bowl game?
That's a great question. First off, thanks for having me back, Adam. I think they certainly know that the fight, the brawl, whatever you want to call it, I guess it was definitely more of a brawl than a scuffle, is something that can't happen again. But it's almost because they won the game, it's been talked about less than probably on the NC State side, at least following it from an ECU perspective. And, 5 NC State players were ejected, 3 from ECU were ejected. And it's one of those things where I think there was a lot more people than that involved. And I don't know. I mean, it's definitely been hit on. Blake Harrell has said that you got to keep your emotions in check while also using your emotions. You just can't let your emotions use you in a game like this. And you can say all that stuff at him, but when you roll out there and kick the football off, and if there's hitting on the opening kickoff or beyond, and it's one of those situations where things escalate after that, all that talk kind of goes out the window, and it's about how the players react in the moment. So that's what I'm looking for, is now once the ball kicks off, they're going to be hammering this message home all year. Now are you going to have a chance to really keep your composure once the game actually begins?
Stephen Igo is joining us here, the man behind Hoist the Colors, covers ECU, big game tonight at Carter Finley Stadium. we all knew that Mike Houston's pedigree was that of a winning football coach. I mean, he won everywhere he went. It didn't work out, obviously. There looked to be signs that it was turning around, and who knows, sometimes it just doesn't work. What changed under Blake Harrell that allowed them to go 4-1 down the stretch, 5-1 when you count the bowl game?
The biggest thing is just I think he unlocked the offense, as weird as it is to say, for a defensive-minded coach, because he brought such a free and easy feel to the program. Mike Houston, as you guys know, was more of the military-style coach and, really had his hands on every little aspect of the program. And Blake is more of a player's coach. And I just think, despite being a Mike Houston guy, obviously he was his defensive coordinator for 5 years, he just has such a different personality. He allows players to be themselves, and it really reminds me a lot of the Ruff and McNeil era from the standpoint of you go out to practice. Yeah, they're not out there just goofing around for an hour and a half, 2 hours of practice, but it's just much more of a relaxing atmosphere. He does have a chip on his shoulder as well from the standpoint of he's kind of a coach that's been overlooked. A lot of people, you look at just his background. He's worked at the Citadel. He's worked at Lenore Ryan. He's never had the sexiest jobs, but wherever he's been, he's produced at Kennesaw State as a defensive coordinator with an 11-win team. So it's one of those things. He fits ECU from a chip on the shoulder, but also just a family-oriented, players-first coach. And at a place like ECU where you're always seemingly at your best when you have a high-flying offense, you kind of have that chip-on-the-shoulder mentality. It just seems to be a really good fit.
So, all right, let's talk about, you mentioned high-flying offense. Give me some high flyers that we're going to have to keep an eye on.
There's plenty of them. I think the one that NC State fans know most is Anthony Smith,
right,
that wide receiver. He was with the program for 4 years. For one reason or another, just didn't work out. Jaquez Petaway is an Oklahoma transfer that they brought in this past offseason who has a chance to start in the slot. I think it would be a really explosive player. And you look at him, Anthony Smith, and the other Smith is Yannick Smith on the opposite side at receiver. He's a true sophomore but was a former 4-star recruit. Those are the three receivers that should start, and they all provide different explosiveness in different ways, I should say. And then Keaton Hauser, returning quarterback, John David Baker back for his second year as the offensive coordinator, and they feel good about the running back. So, I mean, as always with ECU or any program at this level, I guess any program that's not Alabama, the cream of the crop, you do worry about the offensive line. But I think everybody, including NC State, has concerns about their offensive line going into a season.
Yeah, but there are some returning starters for the Pirates on that side of the ball. Anyway, I want to get back to the quarterback, to Keaton Hauser, because I commented earlier about State that for the first time in 3 years, they have a returning quarterback because they had been dipping into the portal for 3 years. Now, while that's not necessarily the case at East Carolina, but the fact that Hauser got a bunch of playing time last year at the end, how does that bode well for him and the offense as we approach the new season?
I think it's a big deal. I mean, it's similar to NC State. It's been since 2022 when Holton Ahlers was back as quarterback that ECU's had.
Right.
The returning guy back, and just like, you don't have those questions all offseason of who's going to win the quarterback competition, who's going to be the guy, who's going to lead our program. And Keaton is a very confident young man, and I think his confidence was kind of taken away from him last year when Jake Garcia was named starter, and he didn't really get it back till late in the season, and we've seen that confidence kind of come back since he transferred into the program. He's kind of become the same guy that we initially thought he was, and I think his natural leadership skills have taken over. He's kind of, I really think, bought into being the face of the program, and it's one of those things, too. He's got really good talent. I mean, he was a 4-star recruit out of high school, an Elite 11 quarterback. He's not the most mobile guy in the world, but as he showed in the bowl game, he can run enough. You look at, his arm strength, he can make most of the throws on the field required in this offense, and he's a really smart player, and so much of this offense is RPO-based. Depending on what you get from the defense is what your read is. So I think it's a huge deal. I'd be very disappointed if ECU's offense, did not perform well this season, including tonight. I think they'll be able to put up points. The biggest thing with them is, can they limit the turnovers? Last year they ranked, I think, 130th nationally in giveaways, and to do that and still win 8 football games shows that if you can take care of the ball, you can be pretty dang good.
Stephen Igo, Hoist the Colors, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. You can follow him on Twitter at Stephen Igo. The game tonight at 7 o'clock. All right, by the way, if you're listening locally on 99.9 The Fan, we'll have the East Carolina broadcast right here on this very radio station. So Blake Harrell's the defensive coordinator. So the defensive disruptors, the guys who are going to cause NC State the most problems are?
Jamarlee Riddle is who I start with in the secondary. He is a safety, and normally you wouldn't think of a safety as a disruptor. Now, he is really the only proven guy back there. Really defensively they got questions across the board, but in the secondary especially. And Jamarlee Riddle is a true sophomore, but he similar to some of the guys on offense, really came on strong towards the latter half of the year, coincided with the team's 5-1 record of the final 6 games. And, he's a guy who's a game changer. He's an eraser as far as a tackler. He makes a lot of plays near the line of scrimmage, but he also had 3 interceptions last year in his final 6 starts, including a pick 6. So he's a game changer. Up front, the 2 edge guys that NC State, I'm sure, is game planning for, or at least noteworthy are J.D. Lampley, starting defensive end, senior. He had 39 quarterback pressures last year across 13 games. And then Raheem Craig, former Louisville transfer, North Carolina native. He transferred in last year, had a really productive year, started all 13 games at outside linebacker. He's 6'3", 230, can run. He's kind of your pass rusher as well. So those are really the 3 main guys defensively. But they've got questions there. New coordinator, obviously Blake is a defensive guy, so that should help. But new coordinator, I think 8 or 9 new starters on paper, although they've had a lot of these guys in the program, and they brought in a lot of transfers that have played before.
All right, final question for Stephen Igo. Hoist the colors. That's Stephen Igo on Twitter, and there's an E at the end of Igo. The mentality, like Dave Doeren last year, heading into the bowl game, said something that, I get why he said it, because Dave does have a tendency to go and delve into these types of trolling at times. That East Carolina is not our rival, he just kind of diminished any rivalry element here. There is no question that this is a rivalry to whatever level people want to assign importance. From the ECU perspective, give me the mindset of this game, especially as a regular season game.
I think it's one of those things where, Doeren had the comment a few weeks ago. Obviously, he wanted to beat the crap out of ECU at ACC Media Day. Now, he used a different word.
Right.
And, do you say that if the game's not a rivalry? I don't think so. Obviously, you did just lose to the team in the bowl game. And maybe he was saying that because really NC State, obviously the 22 game easily could have been an ECU win if they would have made a kick at the end. But before that, he had kind of handled ECU during the Scotty Montgomery eras, and it didn't feel like much of a rivalry then because State was winning by so much. But you look historically, over the last 20 games, ECU has an 11-9 advantage in the series. Typically, these are close, tightly contested games. They're sold out. You look at the season or the ticket prices across the country. ECU NC State was the 5th highest get-in ticket price across college football as a whole this weekend, right behind Florida State, Alabama. So this game matters. People can say what they want to say. And, look, it's not an annual game, even though in this case it happens to be one due to the bowl appearance. But I think it's a game that should be played, if possible, every few years, no matter the location. I think the fan bases are both extremely passionate about their football teams. They care. And look, it's going to be a bad night for whichever fan base loses, and on the other side, it's going to be a great night for whoever wins. But as far as mentality, I do think ECU is a little bit of an advantage here from the standpoint of it almost feels like a no-lose situation because State lost the bowl game, and if ECU, even if they lose tonight, they're big underdogs. It's not going to end your season. Whereas if NC State loses at home right after losing the bowl game, all that pressure on Dave Doeren is just going to get ramped up even that much more. So critical game for both teams, but I think certainly for the Pack tonight at home.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a free swing for the Pirates. Look, I'm of the mind that East Carolina should play either NC State or UNC every year. That is, and preferably both, but at least every year those one of those 2 teams should be on their schedule. Next year, I believe. We don't have a scheduled game for the next decade or so after next season between the Wolfpack and the Pirates. I will just tell the governor can get on this, can he? Right? Can't Josh Stein get on this?
Yeah.
Do something about it.
I do know that ECU has tried to play the political angle. ECU and NC State are scheduled to play in 2028 in Greenville. Now, if that game actually happens, who knows? ECU and North Carolina are not scheduled to play. That's kind of your situation there.
Okay, that was the game. So it's not next year. It's in 2028. Yes, well, talk to me if the ACC goes to a 9-game conference schedule. Stephen Igo, enjoy the game tonight, my friend. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys.
You got it. Stephen Igo here on the Adam Gold Show. I'm looking at East Carolina's future non-conference schedules. Look, I probably care more about schedules than anybody in terms of, obviously we talk about it in terms of comparing teams in one league to the next. Like, I'm probably annoying to people the way I look at schedules. But I believe that you use your schedules to obviously improve your program, create the best record you can create. You have to kind of, walk a balance between easy wins and helping you improve. But those games that are not necessarily high-level games. So State's big non-conference game this year, no offense to ECU or Virginia, is Notre Dame. One of those, great. You don't need any more than one. I would like to see the Wolfpack, and I would like to see the Tar Heels take at least one of those non-conference games that isn't that national spotlight type of a game. I would like to see them take that and use that with a good local angle. So for me, ECU or App, and we don't know what Charlotte's going to be, right? New situation. ECU and App should always be on State and Carolina's non-conference schedule. Annually, every year. I think it does a lot for football in the state of North Carolina to have these types of matchups where not everybody, because not everybody who goes to East Carolina is from North Carolina. Same with that. Same with UNC, same with NC State. But it's a lot, not to mention fans. It would be best for in-state football to have these matchups on a regular, annual basis. So let's get on this. Let's call the governor. Let's make sure it happens. All right. When we come back, believe it or not, we are less than a month away from not only training camp, but games. Hockey games. Trip Tracy will join us next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
ECU Pirates football tonight.
Bryce Harris at the 20, 25, 30 down the left side, 40. He makes a man miss at the 50. Off to the races, 40, 30. A chase is on. 10, 5, touchdown. You gotta be serious. You gotta be kidding me. On a handoff.
ECU takes on NC State. Pregame starts at 6. Kickoff at 7 on 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle's home for college football.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and it's here. The start of the college football season for us. East Carolina at NC State. Wolfpack given 13.5. Over under 61.5. I'm not sure we're going to have that many points, and I think this will be a more competitive game than the people in the desert do. So act accordingly. And new customers, $5 bet, you win. You get $300 in bonus bets if you use the app. Check it out. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Let's go. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington can help you get ready for hockey season. Ride with a top down in a new Wrangler with $10,000 off any Wrangler Rubicon or Wrangler Rubicon 4xe in stock. Go anywhere, do anything. With John Heister having the largest inventory and the best selection in the Raleigh area, you're sure to find the one that's right for you. See dealer for details. Get off your keister and get to Heister for the Make This the Summer event. John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Imagine lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let the high rates hold you back. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
One Adam.
Gold.
One Adam.
Gold.
Is he married to a person or just himself? Because that, I feel like that's very Aaron Rodgery of him to have the twist in there.
It's a very good question.
So, I don't know. We still don't know if it's a person.
Would he get down on one knee to ask himself over an ayahuasca?
Yes.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. We are 3 weeks away from the Hurricanes prospects going off to the prospect tournament that will be played in South Florida. That always kind of gets our competitive hockey juices flowing. Training camp will commence right on the heels of that. And we go back, what is it now? 5 years? When Seth Jarvis, or 4 years, whatever it is, 5 summers ago, when Seth Jarvis kind of turned the Carolina Hurricanes' plans on its ear by his performance in that event, which led to a spot potentially on the NHL roster, which led to a spot on the roster. The rest is history as he enters year 5 with the Carolina Hurricanes. And Seth Jarvis is one of those people who everybody expects to take yet another step forward. I asked Rod Brindamore last week, the podcast that dropped on Monday, if Jarvis's future might be at center. And I thought the answer would be yes. And it was a quick no the other way. And he does not want Jarvis to move to the middle and lose whatever dynamic ability he's got offensively. I personally don't think he would, but I do know this. The head coach knows a lot more about these things than I do. He thinks that it will be more than likely an opportunity for Logan Stankoven. Don't know if it's going to work out, but we talked a lot about the team. And also in the latter portion of that podcast, we talked about our next guest, the one and only co-North Carolina Sportscaster of the Year, analyst Trip Tracy. How are you, my friend? It's been too long since we have actually spoken. Are you refreshed?
Hey, G, great to hear your voice. I'm doing well. I was just telling Victoria, probably my fault, because I've been trying to deal with a slowing metabolism, and my dog Frank has been challenging me to the point where one walk last week was 5 hours and 42 minutes straight, 37,000 steps, and he never complained, but I've had to put him on walk timeout because his paws have taken a beating on the cement. So my hope, getting ready to come down to Raleigh in a couple of weeks, is the Canes just across the board have his grit this year. Because, beating up paws, 5 hours and 42 minutes, I think it was 19 miles. He never complained. If we can have that across the board on the roster this year, the Canes are going to be in good stead.
So before I get to hockey, now I need to know this. So a 5 hour and 42 minute walk, I'm going to guess music or something was with you, but was it a there and back walk? Did you walk 9 miles somewhere and then 9 miles home? Like what explain this to me.
It's actually sort of it's a loop, and typically I come in to the house at about 2 hours, and it was Frank that yanked me like he wasn't done. So then at about 3 hours, which is his max down in the Greenway in Raleigh that I love so much and I miss so much, I texted the breeder and I said, "Is this cool? I mean, he's still going strong." And she said yes. And at that point, AG, my competitive juices got going. And how long can we go? And it was my feet that were tired at the end. And to answer the question, so we just sort of repeated the loop like 3 times. And Rod, who I tell you, I really enjoyed that hot stove that you guys just had. And he actually asked me, he said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Rod, without getting too deep, I don't listen to podcasts. My life is in good stead because as I'm sitting in my car, when I found a way to move from the seat where the steering wheel is to moving to the passenger seat, so I use it as my time. I don't listen to podcasts. I use it as a reminder to turn it over and get the heck into the passenger seat. And so that's how I use the time."
That's just absolutely awesome. Trip Tracy is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So I want to get into a couple of things that I talked about with Rod. I just want your opinion on it. I was of the mind, Carolina, we could debate all day long about do they have enough at center. I think we all agree they need more, whether it's from existing centers or from somebody moving to that position. I thought he would give Seth the first crack at it because we know that Jarvis is an elite defensive player already. And that he would be able to handle it without losing offense. But Rod was like, "Nope, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to move him from where he is." And maybe that's about the tandem of he and Aho. I'm not sure. But what are your thoughts on the potential of Stankoven playing center? And then we'll get into the obvious follow-up to all of that.
First of all, revisiting what I said in the previous answer, I just thought it was, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of all Hurricanes fans, it was a tremendous hot stove between you and Rod. You guys have a long history. He said right out of the gate, he said that's why he was sitting in the seat. Right. And, Rod's candor is, and a lot of that speaks to your history with him, but, it was, it was total transparency on all fronts. And, so I going in, I agree with him, why when Jarvis is such a complete, all situations, no shortcut, cornerstone difference maker, why thrust him into that position from the get-go? Like he said with you, when you know what he does works in potentially, if he takes another step this year, in borderline elite fashion. So I'm on board completely with Rod from that standpoint. I mean, Stan Coven, I think I've told you before, when I think it was a Thursday night or a Friday, I think it was a Thursday night, and I went to bed and I saw that the pundits were talking about a deal Rantanen with Dallas, and my hope was that Logan Stankoven, more than any other player, would be even significantly more than Robertson. I was hoping he'd be, if that trade went through, that he'd be coming to Carolina, because I've always liked him. Played his first career game in Carolina. We can think of players like Jarvis, but no better example than Stankoven that, plays about a foot, and however many pounds bigger than he is. He's one of, I think, a few, Jackson Blake another, where I think these are really smart long-term extensions. If I had one thing to say about Carolina here, with all the great that's been done, is getting to these guys early. When you've got a proven commodity. And I'm on record. I think with Stankoven and Jackson Blake, even at early stages, I think these are proven commodities. I know how you feel about Jackson. So for Logan, based on all that he encompasses, and more than anything, what's in his chest, what's in his heart, there's no doubt he's got a great hockey IQ, that he'd have as good of a chance as anybody to make that adjustment. I think the Hurricanes are in a position, because you and I spoke throughout the summer, this was unique because the majority of all teams in the 32-team NHL feel like they're ready to take the next step. So they're not going to unload for the future. So whether it be Jesperi Kotkaniemi taking a next step, which, we'd love to see, and I'll be there, and, nobody will enjoy it more than me, that you're in a position with this roster to see how other teams perform. Hopefully the Hurricanes keep on ticking, and whether your center situation gets proven to be equipped and ready to go toe-to-toe with anybody internally, or you have to make an adjustment externally. I think being able to gauge the first few months of the season is in a position where I'm totally okay with where Carolina is going in.
Trip Tracy is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, Hurricanes game analyst, my friend. All right, I want to get into Kotkaniemi, and I'm going to preface the question by going back to the exit interviews that they all did with the media, and I think he was on the podium with Sean Walker. Now, Walker's end of the season was definitely on the upswing until the injury in the playoffs took him off the ice, and really, I thought, hampered Carolina, although probably not beating Florida anyway, but hampered Carolina in that series against the Panthers. Kotkaniemi's demeanor was one of resignation that, it sounded to me like, and looked to me like, he was checked out. And I get it. It was a disappointing end of the season. He was a healthy scratch at one point in the playoffs as they brought Mark Jankowski into the lineup. He did play and had moments, good moments. Then he took the penalty that turned the game around in Game 5 against the Panthers, which ultimately led to the loss. And who knows if he was still wearing that particular moment. But it did seem to me that he was resigned, that it was over. Obviously, it's not. He's here. I still think he's going to start the season as the number 2 center in terms of their scoring lines. Where are you in what Kotkaniemi has to do to be able to take advantage of his frame, his ability, and make the other guys around him better?
Great question. I'm going to preface my answer by saying great kid. He is a super, super kid. So I've established that. When he was playing for the Montreal Canadiens and former Hurricanes head coach Kirk Muller, and at one point when Claude Julien, I believe, had a heart issue, was the head coach when Montreal put together a little run in the bubble in Toronto, and Kotkaniemi played very well. And at one point he was part of a series where, they beat the Toronto Maple Leafs and had a big overtime winner. So Kirk was very familiar with him, and then the Hurricanes got him. And I said, Kirk, what's the critical piece for Jesperi Kotkaniemi? He said, fire in his belly. So, and my mom, who I take care of here in Michigan, hopefully she's not dialed in. She's a big Adam Gold fan. She hates the word pissed. She hates it. But Jesperi Kotkaniemi has got to take that conclusion and play pissed off in the right way.
Right.
Take charge with consistent fire in his belly. I'll give a terrific example. And, I think it was right after a game that we were here in Detroit on a Tuesday, and the Hurricanes had, or I can't remember if it was we were here in Detroit or if it was that Toronto-Montreal swing right after the Four Nations break. Whenever it was, came home and the Hurricanes were facing adversity, and it was Whalers night against the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh, yeah.
And within the context of a regular season, that stretch of poor hockey needed to stop. And Jesperi Kotkaniemi, at the opening face-off, dropped the gloves, and he set the tone for a one-sided victory against the Buffalo Sabres. And I think he could have been the first star of the game, because that is exactly what the team needed at that moment in time. And that was fire in his belly. That was him taking charge. That was him being a leader in his own way. He's not going to be, in terms of X's and O's, the fastest skating centerman in the league. But if he's direct at the appropriate times and uses his mind, he can gain Rod's total trust. He's got an opportunity. I mean, if you look at how much power play opportunity he got last year, and unfortunately, the lack of production, it hasn't been a lack of opportunity. So I think that part of it, Rod just wants the best out of him, but there has been ample opportunity. And then the one last thing I'd say, AG, is shoot that puck quickly. Because when he shoots the puck quickly with no dust off, he's a really good playmaker, especially in the offensive zone. I think when he is going, he does as good of a job. You mentioned Sean Walker, and I think I agree with you wholeheartedly what you said about his performance and how much he lost when he got hurt. The weak side defenseman in the offensive zone, with the way teams play defensively, that guy is usually open and dangerous of switching sides quickly. And I don't know if anybody, when he's on, takes more advantage of that and better and more favorable advantage than Jesperi Kotkaniemi. So those are the things, both in terms of the intangibles and a couple X's and O's, that I think will allow him to take a big step. But I think it starts and ends with him playing pissed off and with consistent fire in his belly.
Trip Tracy is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. In the moments of the seasons, last year at the beginning of the year, when it was he, Natchez, and Eric Robinson that had formed this trio that was just constantly on the score sheet. Obviously, a lot of that was Marty Natchez, who touched the sun at some point and could not have been hotter. Everything he touched ended up in the back of the net. But when Kotkaniemi, we can go back to the year where they had the outdoor game. When Kotkaniemi is just doing the job of being a physical presence in the middle, not trying to be too fancy, being smart, being responsible, if he's playing with guys on his flanks that are productive players, he'll get points by accident. He just needs to do his job. Sometimes I feel like he tries to do too much, which is really what happened on the penalty that flipped the game against Florida. To me, when he's not trying to do too much and just does his job, he has the chance to impact the game in a positive way. And I do think over the years, Rod's leash has gotten a little shorter because, unfortunately, Kokaniemi does kind of go on mental walkabout about those things.
Yeah, that's the confidence part of it that, when things go south, your mind becomes your biggest enemy. But I go back to, there are players on the roster that they'd swim the oceans for the type of opportunity that he's got. So he's got an ample opportunity. But you mentioned that outdoor game, and now former Hurricane Brent Burns, I remember talking to him going into that game at Carter Finley against Washington. And Burns, he said to me at that point in time, because Kokaniemi was confident, he was playing with that fire in his belly. He said, Tripp, he might be so far in the calendar year. What was that game in February? He said he might be our most dangerous, consistent forward in that calendar year. I thought early in the calendar year this past season, he found an unbelievable balance, AG, of being direct, taking care of the non-negotiables that Rod always talks about, but then he used the lateral east-west portion of the ice very, very effectively. Question is, can you turn those stretches into longer, more trustworthy, reliable chapters? Because as an analyst, there's no doubt he has shown those chapters. And being a veteran now, being a more experienced guy, I remember last year when the Hurricanes signed Jack Roslovic, who was lights on fire for the first couple months of the season. For whatever reason with Jack, when his mind becomes his enemy, that stretch, before relocating, that's a lot of runway. Jesperi has shown signs. The question is, can he extend those positive stretches, and can he limit the blips in the radar? That's up to him.
Trip Tracy, my friend. All right, you get back to town, I know, in a couple of weeks. We got to get together. Maybe if you'll allow, we can drag you into the same studio we talked to Rod in.
I would absolutely love that. And, again, I just thought it was I told you, I try to, focus on moving over to the passenger seat on the dog walk. But I watched the episode with my morning coffee, and you guys touched so many things on so many different fronts that I thought was just terrific. And I actually texted Rod about it yesterday. I didn't watch it until yesterday morning. And one of the things you talked about, somehow Tommy Hearns came on.
Yeah.
And I actually sat with his niece, wonderful person, her name's Jessica, on a flight this summer. And just a terrific person. And I actually sent her a message that about the episode to pass along to her uncle Tommy, who lives here in Pure, Michigan. But I just thought it was great, and I can't wait to see it.
All right, sir. I'll talk to you very soon. We'll set it up. Appreciate your time. Best to Frank. Best to your mom. And safe travels back to Raleigh.
You have a great rest of the afternoon. Love you, AG.
You got it, man. Take care. Trip Tracy here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, we have to stretch. Bets are coming. I gave you another winner yesterday, and a big one. How many people were on it? I'm telling you. We're on a little bit of a roll here. Wish I had taken advantage of it myself. Next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through
into November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org. Make this your best summer yet by having fun while staying active and engaged. AARP can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people age 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/contactnc to find your county's ombudsman.
This is Adam Gold.
Steve Bettman take all that time to walk out, then to see the pick bro hug no less than 20 guys on his way up there. And then this draft house, they just moved this wall like the Price is Right. I don't know.
It's a showcase showdown back there.
I know.
That would be great. So we should spin a wheel,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Coming up at the top of the next hour, Garner High School baseball coach. Yeah, I just said that. Derik Goffena. Don't know if I pronounced the name right. If I haven't, I apologize. Who was the high school baseball coach when Nolan McLean pitched at Garner High School. He's good, Nolan McLean. This just in. 8 innings of shutout ball for the Mets last night. Since he showed up, the Mets have reverted to being good. 3-0 in 3 starts, 0.89 ERA. And just ridiculous, ridiculous stuff. He doesn't throw super hard. I mean, everybody throws hard these days, but he doesn't throw super hard. He's not touching 100. And that's okay. I grew up watching Tom Seaver pitch when Seaver's fastball topped out at like 94. And he wasn't Nolan Ryan. There was only one of those. But I guess you don't have to throw 100 to be effective as a pitcher in the big leagues.
Yeah, no. Just got to fake people out.
And that's what he's doing probably better than anything. All right, so Derek Afina will join us top of our next hour. Right now, it's time to stretch.
Okay, so I saw this, and I thought this was funny when Tripp was talking about going on like a 28-mile walk with Frank every other day.
Ridiculous.
When he said he went on a 5-hour walk.
5 hour and 42 minutes.
Excuse me.
37,000 steps. I wrote that down.
What? Sometimes I don't sleep that much in a night. Like, this is crazy.
Oh, I didn't sleep 5 hours and 42 minutes last night. No chance.
So, yeah, it is crazy. But this is an exercise I have not heard about before, and I do not anticipate trying this myself. But the New York Post is highlighting the latest fitness trend called quadrobics. And so what this is basically like running and jumping on all fours like an animal. Using all four, your legs and your arms. So it's gaining traction apparently on social media, because why not? And I'm curious if this started on TikTok, because this sounds like a TikTok thing, but it does not mention this. But it's things like bear crawls, which will definitely wear you out.
Burpees.
Yes, those are big time.
Mountain climbers.
Yep, that's another one.
Has Tony Horton weighed in on any of this yet?
I know, exactly. And then they also have something called cat leaps, which just sounds uncomfortable. I don't get this. But they say it's definitely a full body workout, obviously, and that people have actually lost weight. One practitioner said that they gave this a try, did lose weight, and they saw definition in their abs. So there's that. Makes sense since you're using everything.
Mountain climbers will continue to work well after you are done doing them.
Yeah.
Which is probably why they suck so bad.
Exactly. Why you hate them so much. Yeah. It's kind of like yoga. We've had this conversation because I believe you're trying to get one of your sons to do it, which is very helpful.
Yes.
But that's also one of those things where you feel it afterward.
Yeah, I can't do it now because I only got one arm.
Yeah, I know.
Stuck.
You're definitely not a quadrobic right now.
I can't do downward or upward dog.
No, you would just fall on your face, and we don't want you to break your face. So they say
might be an improvement.
They say that if you do these primal movements, then only do it for about 5 minutes because it will wear you out. So there you go. And
then the next thing you know, you're like drinking milk out of a bowl on the floor.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want that.
It's just weird. It's weird how that works. And they did say if you wanted to try this out, to start slow, which is probably a wise idea because, no one wants to be doing cat leaps and mountain climbers super fast. So
so funny.
I need to Google what this cat leap looks like. Like, I have something in my brain but I feel like I'm going to hurt myself doing this, so I'm not going to do this. I'm not doing this, but I just feel like I would hurt myself. Now, one thing that will not hurt you, or at least I don't like to think it would, is caffeine, because they did this new study in Europe, which isn't really a new study because we've had a lot of caffeine studies before, that they're saying if you do need a boost mentally, that caffeine's a good way to go. So in the morning, if you're just dragging, They did do some study where they observed people, and they said it does make you feel happier immediately, more enthusiastic.
Get rid of that headache.
Yeah, overall contentment, which you might have gotten the headache from the caffeine if you're in that stage. That's the bad part about all of this. So if you do need a quick pick-me-up and you don't already drink caffeine in the morning, go for it. Now, they did say 1 cup every 4 hours is about the average, but they say don't do it too late, obviously, because then you'll sleep like us, only 5 hours.
Caffeine doesn't do that to me.
No?
I will sleep through caffeine.
Yeah? Well,
I'm not that. I'm never worried about, I won't be able to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Ever.
Man.
But, I mean, there are other reasons why I don't sleep a lot.
I feel like I could sleep through caffeine, but one thing I can't is heat. If I get hot, I'm done. It's over.
Yeah, forget
Game
it.
over.
No, gosh.
I might as well start doing, tasks because I'm done. Ruined that for me. But hopefully, like you said, we didn't ruin somebody's days because we had good bets yesterday.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me.
I owe you nothing.
So one of my picks was a futures bet. Took Europe in the Ryder Cup plus 150. I had Pete Alonso anytime home run. That didn't hit. But my last wager yesterday was United and Grimsby Town in the EFL Cup. And I said, going to be a draw. This is going to penalties. That's what happened. Plus 900. Folks, pay attention.
Yeah.
You go first.
Okay. So, yeah, I made my emotional bet yesterday. Didn't work out for me with the Cubs, but
sorry.
It's a total pick'em game today. And for my soul, please win, Cubs, so we don't get swept by the Giants. So, and plus my guy Shota is pitching today. So, let's go, Shota. Give me my Cubbies, please. And over 7. Plus 185.
All right, we'll start with baseball. Well, we got 2 football games locally, so we're going to hit those. Mets are taking on the Marlins today. Francisco Lindor, anytime home run hitter, plus 430. He has more home runs against the Marlins than any other National League opponent. 18. Actually, he has 18 against the Nationals as well. But those are the 2 leaders in terms of NL teams. Francisco Lindor will go deep for the Mets today.
Okay, well, because I like to emotionally bet sometimes, let's go against the White Sox, shall we?
Oh, they're playing the Yankees. The Yankees are in their AAA portion of their schedule.
I know, but they could still beat them. So give me the Yankees to win, and I'll take the over 9, even though they're in Chicago, plus 150.
Could happen in the 4th inning. All right, we'll start with Duke and Elon. Blue Devils, a 36.5-point favorite at home. Lamb, minus 36.5, over 49.5 on the Blue Devils. That's plus, I think, 216.
Okay, and last but not least, Colorado Rockies are in Houston taking on the Astros. Give me the Astros to win at home, and I'll go with the over 8.5 because the Rockies are kind of bad. Plus 165.
Kind of bad?
Yeah, I was trying to be nice.
They're significantly bad. All right, the big one at Carter Finley Stadium tonight, and I think this is going to be a good football game. The line is bumped up. East Carolina now getting 14.5 from NC State on my FanDuel app. Give me the Pirates plus the points, under 61.5. I still think State wins the game. That is plus 216. Thank me tomorrow.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
We are knocking on the door of the regular season for the Carolina Panthers, and there are still so many questions on the defensive depth chart. The depth, the second unit. What happens if someone gets hurt? For the Carolina Panthers defense is the type of question where the answers are harrowing. You don't want to see them. It's like the end of a horror movie. Just roll credits.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
New to the area? Let me be the first to welcome you. I'm Marcy Bailey of Bailey's Fine Jewelry. We've been family-owned and part of North Carolina since 1948. We have a tradition of being voted the best jewelry store with an unparalleled selection of designer jewelry, fine diamonds, engagement rings, watches, and gifts to commemorate all your special occasions. We look forward to sharing our award-winning service and stunning jewels with you. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to see why every woman wants a Bailey box.
It is I, Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. Yes, I am back in Raleigh. Do I go downtown with so many places to party? No, I go to the Sharky's place. The good food, the fine drinks, the coldest of beers, and of course, the many, many beautiful people. I always hang at the Sharky's place, the coolest bar in the world, because, well, it was built for me. Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. The Sharky's place, 8800 de Raleigh Road by the Shelley Station.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
The deals are heating up at Wilkinson Chevrolet GMC in Sanford. Right now, you can drive home in a new 2025 GMC Sierra 2500 HD Denali with up to $8,500 off MSRP, including bonus cash, purchase allowance, and Wilkinson discount. See dealer for details. Whether you're towing, hauling, or turning heads, that's thousands of dollars in savings. GMC, we are professional grade. Hurry to Wilkinson Chevrolet GMC in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
Progressive's Teen Driver Discount could lower the cost of insurance for your teenager and save you some money. And then you can still spend money on them. Because just when you think you have a grasp on spending, new sneakers. And then it's money for a school field trip. And of course, spending money. Oh yeah, and a new phone to replace the one they dropped in the toilet. Oh, don't remind me. So just get Progressive's Teen Driver Discount. And then you can continue to spend money on them. Endlessly. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states and subject to terms and conditions.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
To use Jerry's own analogy with the mom, the dad, and the child, to me, when Dak was speaking, it was just him acknowledging that Jerry's the child in all of this. Like, a lot of my friends have kids, and sometimes if their kid's throwing a tantrum, my friends are just like, oh, let him yell it out. Just, like, ignore him. And I feel like that's what Dak is intimating here. Like, yeah, this is just what Jerry does. He's going to throw the tantrum, but, like, it's going to be fine. I'm not pressed about it because this is what he does. You just have to ignore it and let the process play out.
Cowboys, attention hounds. My gosh, they're like high schoolers.
Always.
Speaking of high school, we're going to talk about that in a minute. It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria is on the ones and twos. We thank you very much for hanging out with us. We're on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com. Just go to YouTube. You don't have to type in .com. Just type in YouTube. And then search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. You can watch the show. The show is also available in podcast form afterwards. So consume us as you will. If you are a podcaster, give us a follow, give us a rating, do all that stuff because it just makes us feel good. And look, we're trying to make you feel good. You make us feel good. It's a wonderful two-way street on which we walk. Last night at Citi Field in New York against the NL East leading Phillies, Nolan McLean did it again. 8 innings, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. Mets win at 6-0. His manager, Carlos Mendoza.
I can say it's wow. That was super impressive. He dominated one of the best lineups in the league. He made it look easy. He's just everything about the kid, not only what we're seeing on the mound, but just the way he carries himself, He's got electric stuff, but he's got pitchability. He knows what he's doing on the mound. He knows how to manipulate the baseball. He knows what hitters are trying to do to him. He's not afraid to use all of his pitches. Like he pitches today, When he's behind, he's got the ability to spin the ball and get back in counts. He's not afraid to challenge hitters. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, very impressive, to the point where he's better than Tom Seaver through 3 starts. Like one of the 3 or 4 greatest right-handed pitchers of all time. 3-0, 0.89 ERA. And the Mets drafted him out of Oklahoma State as a two-way player, which is what he was at Garner High School for head coach Derik Goffena. I hope I pronounced your last name right, Coach, as he joins us on the Adam Gold Show. And we'll give the Garner High School Twitter feed a follow at GMH Baseball on Twitter. You've got to be thrilled watching what's going on in New York. I know I am as a Mets fan.
Yeah, we're just really, really excited for him. He's a young man who was very talented and worked very hard, and now he's getting to kind of live out his dreams, and it's really fun to keep up with.
So I know I mentioned that the Mets drafted him as a two-way player. He didn't pitch a ton in his final year at Oklahoma State. Did you foresee pitching being the way he would leave his mark? I know nobody thinks that their player's going to go on to the big leagues and have all this success. I mean, you hope, but you don't think it, I guess. But did you think that pitching would be the calling card?
When he was in high school, he was one of the highest-rated prospects in the country, and a lot of the pro scouts were split. Some of them liked him as a hitter, and some of them liked him as a pitcher. From our standpoint, we really thought that whenever he kind of focused on one or the other, he'd really have a chance to move up the chain quickly. And once he got to AA and decided to kind of make pitching the full-time responsibility, it seems like things have really, really come together quickly.
Derek Afina, head coach at Garner High School, is joining us here. Baseball coach, should mention that because I know it's football season, but it's always baseball season at Garner. Now, he certainly has been great, but I heard Carlos Mendoza kind of describe his makeup as a pitcher. He likes his pitchability, which for me, it means he doesn't necessarily rely on throwing 100, which he doesn't. What was he like as a pitcher for you at Garner?
So when we had him, he went to Oklahoma State as a baseball and football player. Right. He was also a very high-level quarterback. And so for us, we used him primarily as a closer, a relief pitcher. Right. We respected the fact that his arm was not only something he used in baseball, but in football as well. So we used him as a closer in high-leverage situations all 4 years. He's doing all these amazing things with the Mets. We never started him on the mound because, we were really looking after, limiting the total number of innings. But when he would come in late in the game, it was usually really fun to watch.
I mean, I've seen a few innings live, but the highlights, I think that defies physics, the way the ball moves. He's got one of the nastiest sinkers in the league right now. He's got, all these things. Not his curveball doesn't break. It's got a high spin rate. So did he have that kind of stuff in terms of being able to move the ball like he does?
Definitely more so now. Like when he was in high school, he had kind of a standard high school slider. It moved a lot. He threw it harder than most other people. But last night, looking at the pitch charts, he has 6 pitches he uses a lot. I think it showed last night 5 of those pitches he threw at least 10% of the time. For us, it was more of a hard four-seam fastball and a hard slider. He's definitely learned to manipulate movement on the ball a lot more, with the development of the Mets farm system.
6 pitches. Most pitches, if you're lucky to have 3 high-level, 3, they call it plus pitches, then you're in good shape as a starter. 6. Can you have, too many things to think about as a starting pitcher? That's to have 6 reliable pitches. You say that he used them all a lot. That seems almost excessive.
Yeah, and, it seems, last night, obviously, me and my family watched the game on TV, and after the game, they had some really good data, and right now he's relying primarily on the sinker, which is in the 94 to 97 range with drop, and then the sweeper, which is kind of 86 to 88, and just has a ton of movement across the plate away from a right-handed batter. All the different pitches are, coming in at different angles and moving in different directions, and the fact that he is able to control all of them, 0 walks last night tells you that he's able to control all of those pitches. And, it's just really, really fun to kind of sit back and watch him do it at this level.
All right, 2 more quick questions for Derek Afina, the head baseball coach at Garner High School. That's where Nolan McLean, who is now setting the world on fire for the Mets, that's where he played in high school. So invariably he's going to go through some struggles. I assume he had some of those, at least maybe they were very brief. Maybe it was just a batter or two at Garner, but I'm sure he had some of those. How did he battle through difficulties?
Nolan is 100% one of the mentally toughest kids I've ever been around. I mean, I think coming up as a two-way player is going to help him tremendously. As a hitter, you're failing quite a bit at times. At the high school level, he didn't fail very much. We played in a very, very high-level conference, and there were a lot of battles that he came up on the short end of. But, since I met him when he was 14 or 15 years old, mentally, this is what he's made for. I mean, he's a very work ethic, resilient kid who, we all know there's going to be some rough patches, but the way that his parents raised him and the way that he goes about, his preparation, when those hard times or rough patches hit, he's going to do just fine in bouncing back from them.
Yeah, gave up 9 runs total, I guess, as a junior. I don't see how many runs he gave up as a senior. For some reason on the website it didn't say it. I'm not looking at the Garner High School website. I'm just looking at another one, but he was obviously great. Now, final thing. Can he hit like if the Mets needed a pinch hitter? Jacob deGrom was a really good hitter. The Mets actually utilized him in that role a couple of times. Could Nolan McLean grab a bat and do damage?
Every college in the country wanted him as a hitter or as a pitcher. And, when he was at Oklahoma State, he has All-American plaques as a utility guy. I think he hit 24 home runs his sophomore year at Oklahoma State. So 100%, he could at least go in there and be very, very competitive. I know that hitters at that level are tough, but we've seen balls hit at Garner High School and other high schools in the Raleigh area that are not what normal people do. So athletically, he's as gifted as they come.
And who knows? Maybe the Jets will need a quarterback at some point. I kid, because as a Mets fan, we need all the pitching we can get. Derek Afina, the head baseball coach at Garner High School. I appreciate you doing this. Good luck to the Trojans. I hope to talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. Derek Afina here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, when we come back, ACC football starts tonight. Eric Mac Lain, ACC Network, State and East Carolina at Carter Finley Stadium. The huddle starts soon. We'll huddle with Eric Mac Lain next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
ECU Pirates football tonight.
Rajay Harris at the 20, 25, 30 down the left side, 40. He makes a man miss at the 50. Off to the races, 40, 30. A chase is on. 10, 5, touchdown.
You gotta be serious. You gotta be kidding me.
On a handoff.
ECU takes on NC State. Pregame starts at 6. Kickoff at 7 on 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle's home for college football.
The rivalries, the marching bands, the upsets. Saturdays just got way more fun. College football is back. Think you know the game? Put your knowledge to the test with DraftKings Sportsbook and turn your picks into big payouts. With live betting, rivalry week odds boosts, and more, DraftKings Sportsbook has everything you need to own every Saturday. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD with no spaces for new customers to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Stitches, itches, aches, and pains. Strep and sinus, minor sprains. Pink eye, earaches, fever, flu. Virtual visits, physicals too. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
Things today can seem kind of unpredictable. Who knows what's around the corner, right? Well, at Total Wireless, we want to give you something to be sure about. With us, you save 50% off Metro and Cricket when you switch with one line. Guaranteed. And you get to keep the phone and number you love. Visit our Total Wireless store today. 50% savings for unlimited plans versus comparable Total Wireless unlimited phone plans based on standard plan rates. Some customers may only receive the guaranteed savings after contacting us and validating the current plan rate. Excludes promotional, discounted, and bring your phone rates. For Total 5G unlimited plan or higher, auto pay required. Applied on next renewal date. Additional terms apply.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I will be right by your side.
Women can have it all, including heart attacks. But symptoms like jaw pain, nausea, unusual fatigue, dizziness, and backache are often different and more subtle than for a man. The fact is, heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Know the signs. Learn more at getheartchecked.org. From Women's Heart Alliance, in partnership with Women Heart.
This is Adam Gold.
We're going to have Seth on the show next week when he gets back from vacation. He was by a pool.
What are you doing? Get off Twitter. It's nicer to be on Twitter when you're by a pool anyway.
No, just stop. Stop engaging with people.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Football season starts tonight. Yeah, I know it started this past Saturday, but come on. Now we start. NC State and East Carolina are the main attraction at Carter Finley Stadium. And don't you know, Eric Mac Lain, ACC Network, The Huddle, the pregame show, more podcasts than I could list. Obviously, we have Gramlich and Mac Lain, which is ACC-centric, but now you're doing one with former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray. I mean, how many podcasts do you do, sir?
I've got 3 right now, but always room for more, Goldie, if you want to add one with me. That could be a fun little addition.
I would do that. I would do that with you.
My man, I appreciate
you. You were doing you're doing one for strength and conditioning one too, right?
Yeah, that's the 3rd one. My brother Ike Smith. We went to high school together in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and it's funny, man. There's actually a picture that we have from, I think, the 10th grade, where we had kind of this like artwork that either we drew or one of our friends drew, and it literally said the Mac and Smitty Show. And here we go, like 15 years later, the Mac and Smitty Show launched this summer, and it's been a fun deal. Just talking with my brother to some strength coaches throughout the ACC, and I always try to get in a lift everywhere I go, so it's kind of like a vlog. Just all these different things. It's just fun. It's a good way to have fun.
Well, here in the 919, we have two of the best, right?
No question.
Let's start with because I already mentioned the game, D'Antonio Burnett at NC State. How big of how much does he impact what State has been able to accomplish? Just putting guys in the NFL.
Yeah, no question. You look at the consistency. You look at how they've operated, how they've developed, and it's second to none, right? I mean, it's among the best and the best, and he is a big piece, if not the whole piece, of that with the off-season training. And I really tell people this, and this was, funny enough, I love that this came up. This is one of the reasons I wanted to do Mac and Smitty, to talk to these strength coaches, is people don't really know about that side. There's not a lot of publicity. Those guys don't like to do interviews. They don't like to be in the spotlight. But we as players are with them way more than we're with the coaches.
Right.
We're with those guys 365. And so, they have a different, I wouldn't say better or worse, but a much different relationship with these guys. And it's a cool thing. And he's one of the best, man. There's very few that do it as well as he does. And the fact that he played there and, that he's been a captain there, one of the greatest players to ever wear, the red and white, it's a huge deal. And then you go on top of it this summer, some things that we kind of talked about, on the road show with him, just about training, and that I heard from some of the players, and I heard from other staff members. Like, there was a period early in the summer where, some guys were showing up late, or some guys were showing up wearing the wrong thing, and guess what? They hit the turf. They did up downs. They ran, and they nipped that in the bud quick. And I think that he really kind of turned that whole summer around, and this is a really united, really dedicated team.
I also did not anticipate starting with talking about D'Antonio Burnett, but when it's somebody who has played at that high of a level at that school, it has to resonate even more.
Exactly, and that's what's the really cool piece of it. And there's some head coaches in the ACC that have that ability. There's some strength coaches, and it just he can't ask something of you that he hasn't already done, right? Like, he's literally one of the best, and he has sweat, cried, bled, in those hallways, in that uniform, and given his all for NC State. So if he tells you to do something, it's probably in the best interest for yourself and for the university.
All right, let's get into the team. Eric Mac Lain is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Wolfpack tonight. For the first time in 3 years, they actually bring back the quarterback, because it had been transfer portal central the last 2 years, and it hadn't. In terms of, like, we know injury last year had a big impact. The year before, Brennan Armstrong didn't really work out. But now it's C.J. Bailey for the second straight year. That continuity is something that we don't see a lot of at the highest level in college football. And we'll get to your guy down in Clemson in a sec, but that's got to help Dave Doeren and company to know what they've got, even though he's still a developing player.
Yeah, there's no question. And he's a developing player, Adam, but I think he has superstar written all over him, like the intangibles, the leadership qualities, the playing abilities, how he anticipates and is very decisive throwing the ball. Even last year, like, I think we're going to see a better version of him, but even last year, he's making quick decisions. And I talked with, his offensive coordinator, Coach Rope, and just kind of, asking what he liked about him. He said, we knew early that this guy was going to be a really good, QB for us, because a lot of freshmen come in, and when they're put at the second team or they get first team reps, they try to use their athleticism. They try to just run away or try to extend plays when they really have no shot of doing so. He said he would throw the ball. Like, he's getting it out. And C.J. Bailey would make the read necessary and get that ball flying. And that's a big indicator of a good signal caller. So I think we see more of that. Coach Dave Doeren, a handful of years ago when there was the Devin Leary Heisman campaign, and of course, he got injured leading into that. But leading into that season, he was like, man, it's so nice, having a QB that you can trust and that you know is going to be that guy, because then I can worry about everything else. When it's the QB you're worried about, so much goes into it, so much energy, effort, and time. And now he's freed up like he was this whole, kind of fall camp and other places where he can go and address other needs, be other places, and not feel like he has to give so much energy to that position.
Yeah, and I also think, and Eric Mac Lain is joining us from the ACC Network, I also think that we kind of overlook the impact of continuity on success. And it's hard to develop chemistry on the field. I mean, Florida State showed us this last year. As soon as it started going south, I mean, they just splintered and went in all different directions. But when you have some shared experience, it definitely helps. They also have to replace the defensive coordinator, who for years, Tony Gibson, has been amazing at State. He's now the head coach at Marshall, and I know it wasn't good last year at all, and Tony Gibson was there and maybe part of it, but what do you anticipate from them on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I think with Coach G, I mean, he was the standard there for a while, right? Yeah. Like it was Clemson, Pitt, and State that just year after year had these unbelievable defense, very productive defenses, award winners, big-time players, and things of that nature. And I just think last year they were so riddled with injury, right? I mean, there was some key guys like Caden Fordham is supposed to be the alpha, supposed to be the leader, supposed to be the best player. He goes down, and then you're just like, uh-oh, now what? We don't have that three-headed monster that we did for a couple of years at linebacker, as established or in big-time leadership roles. What are we going to do? And things just kind of fell by the wayside there. But I think, him being back is vital. Sean Brown, I have big expectations for, his second year as a linebacker, and being closer to the ball and just getting to a 4-3 defense. I'm sure they're going to be multiple, but I like having more bigger bodies on the field, man. I like big dudes taking up, O-linemen and letting our linebackers run free. So I think you're definitely going to always see under Coach Dave Doeren a gritty, tough team that plays probably a little bit better than maybe they are. And, at the end of the day, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So if we see that as early as 4 hours, we're going to be in a good spot, and we're going to be really excited to see what we get from State all year long.
Yeah, and Caden Fordham is going to wear number 1 for NC State.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah, that is absolutely. It is a number of prominence. All right, let me get to the Clemson Tigers, Eric Mac Lain, where you won an ACC championship back in the day, and Eric is from the ACC Network and joins us on the Adam Gold Show. I think there are 3 football teams in the country for various reasons that have the most pressure on them. One, I think, is Alabama, Kalen DeBoer. You can't do that again. You can't miss the playoff again. Probably can't lose 3 times or the way they lost to Oklahoma. Penn State hasn't yet broken through. But even though it hasn't been that long, it feels like it has been for Dabo Swinney at Clemson. They bring back somebody who's a Heisman candidate in Cade Klubnik. Just walk me through what your expectations are for the Clemson program.
Yeah, I think it's you're talking about a really deep playoff run, if not a national championship appearance, being there. I know there's only one of those. There's only one winner, 2 teams play, but there's a lot, going into this year. And I think, pressure, as you hear everybody say, pressure is a privilege. Well, it is. For people to think about you, for you to be able to keep, retain, and develop into the team you are, especially now, that's a big deal. And it's a privilege to be able to walk out there on Saturday night and to tout and show off the team that you have. And so now you have to go and deliver, because not only everything that you said and what you have coming back and the timing, and, it feels like everything's kind of been leading into 2025, which is kind of interesting to look back over the last 4 years and see kind of how they got to this point. But also, like, what's next? Cade moves on. All these defensive stars move on. Some talented weapons move on. And not to say that Clemson hasn't recruited and developed at an unbelievable rate, because they have, but there's certainly going to be a bunch of question marks at this time next year. And they're going to Death Valley, first in Baton Rouge there. So, it's one of those things where if not now, when type deal. And so they have to capitalize. I think they will capitalize. I think the culture that Coach Swinney has clearly built and just hardened. I mean, that thing it ain't going anywhere. And it's been fun to kind of see that tested, put to the test. And then now if he's able to win a bunch of games and potentially win or compete for a national championship, that just even further solidifies that thing in his process.
Yeah, and it speaks to, I mean, they really need to get back to the dynamic offense they had back when Eric Mac Lain was patrolling the offensive line of scrimmage, because that's really been missing. That's the part that's been missing over the last, it's like half a decade, really, since Trevor Lawrence's third year, right?
Yes, well, when he left, which that was his third year, I think certainly they got back to it last year, but now it's an efficiency thing, right? Like they did, all the yards and big plays and still scored a lot of points, but there was just some inefficiencies. When Maffa gets hurt, it seems like no one else is behind them. When Clemson gets to the red zone, they can't get into the end zone, and then they got a blocked field goal or a missed field goal, and just some real inefficiencies that kind of hindered momentum and maybe some further viewed progress. But I think they were spectacular on offense a year ago, and now it's just, okay, all those guys are grown up. Cade Klubnik's a senior. Antonio Williams is a senior. Your offensive line is loaded. My gosh, these guys have been playing together, it seems like, forever. And those two freshman phenoms, well, now they're true sophomores. And, man, it's even funny looking at them. They've got, like, facial hair, and they look old. I'm like, what happened to you guys in, like, 4 months? You look like babies. Now you look like grown men. And so, seeing how they take advantage of that, getting Tyler Brown back, I mean, my goodness, this receiver core, I think Adam's the best in the country when you look at returning production, proven talent, not a bunch of transfers coming in from other places. We don't know how this is going to work. No, these are known commodities wearing the paw that have played at a super high level.
You had a beard in college, no?
I had a great beard in college.
Of course you
For
did.
my whole career, I'd like to say.
Yeah.
Early developer.
Way ahead of the game. Eric Mac Lain of the ACC Network is joining us here. All right, real quick before I let you go, because behind Clemson, and we assume that they will be the lead dog or cat, if you will, in this league. Who's next? Does it have to be Miami, Louisville? And then we'll get to some of the others real quick before we have to say goodbye.
Yeah, I think it's always Miami and before the ball snaps. And, we'll see. Ooh. But I just, having seen them in person, Adam, and I've probably said this every year. If you went back and looked at all the times I'm talking about Miami before they played a game, I'm sure it sounds very similar. But these guys are huge on the offensive line. Similar to Clemson, they're all grown up. Francis Mauigoa has been a top 5 draft pick since he was born. Now he's a junior. He's kind of anchoring down that line. He's going to be a monster. On the other side, at the left tackle position, you got Mark Bell, who's 6'9", has like a 20-foot wingspan. This guy's he's an alien out there playing left tackle.
20-foot wingspan.
Yeah, he's crazy. I mean, if you wait till you see this guy. If you ever see him in person, I mean, just run. Like, it's terrifying. A backfield, kind of led the way there by a couple of studs that have been there, done that I'm excited to see the next steps they can take. And then you have, I'll call it a wild card until we see it. I don't view it this way, but you've got a guy in Carson Beck that this time last year was perceived as the number 1 overall pick. And Georgia had their woes. He had his woes. And, I think that their offensive line wasn't as good as he was used to. I think that he had a ton of drops, like led the world in drops, and didn't really have a great running back support system like, again, Georgia is used to having, with that being running back U there. And so he felt like he had to do a lot, and he did not do well with that. He did not do well in the role of needing to be Superman. I don't in any stretch of the imagination think that's what he will have to do at Miami. I think that he's going to have such a good run game behind him. I think he's going to have such a good offensive line protecting him that he can just be a super game manager. I execute the offense. I don't need you to extend plays like Cam Ward, throw sidearm behind your back, around your head. I just need you to hit the first read if it's open and then go through your progressions. I need you to hand the ball off when it's too high and get us into the right spot, or if you see an overload to the left, adjust the protection. That's all I need. This offense will run very fluidly, and Shannon Dawson is as good as it gets. So that's what I think we see from Miami. The other question mark, is just the defensive side of the ball. They were so bad a year ago, and it wasn't personnel. Like, they had great play. I mean, it's Miami. They recruit number 1 class in the ACC year after year after year. Go and get whatever transfer you want. they just couldn't line up. They more than any team in the country, they're looking to the sideline when the ball snapped, and that's not good. And so, I think they've simplified that. They go out and get Coach Heatherman from Minnesota, who was great against the run a year ago. They went out and got a whole new defensive backfield to kind of go with O.J. Frederick there, who I think is a baller. And then you've got all those monsters up front. Ruben Bain hasn't really been forgotten about, but I think some people don't realize how good he is. And then Keem Mesidor is kind of the golden ticket to me. If he can be the player he was 2 years ago, his last year at West Virginia, that Miami thought they were getting, and he's had some bumps and bruises and couldn't stay on the field, he's fully healthy. He's ready to go. That tandem at defensive end could be terrifying for everybody. And the great thing is about all these teams that I'm mentioning, we get to see them against quality opponents, and we get to find out very quickly who they are.
Right away. And that is where we'll, to me, this is the thing that everybody wants to see. Clemson, LSU, Miami, Notre Dame, which is just an awesome way to start the season. Carolina, TCU. TCU, they're not going to be bad. And we have high expectations for North Carolina, at least in terms of wins. And we know the conference schedule is somewhat light for them. But how do you see all this shaking out? Is Miami going to be that next team? Is there a dark horse that you see?
Yeah, I think right now, until proven otherwise, I mean, hey, call me Monday. We'll see. We'll tell you, what we kind of think of them. But I think as of right now, it's Clemson, Miami, and then kind of everybody else fighting for an opportunity, fighting for a chance. And a lot of these teams play them, which is great, and they'll have that. Louisville welcomes Clemson to their house on a Friday night. SMU comes to Death Valley. It's there's out there for the taking. Duke goes to Clemson. I think Darian Mensah, who plays tonight, is going to be freaky. I can't wait to see, that kind of show from him. Georgia Tech, look out. I mean, these guys play tomorrow. That they've been like, it's kind of uncomfortable how much they've been picked, by all these national guys. I'm like, hey, you guys look at the ACC. That's cool. Good to know. And so what they could do on top of Louisville as well, who I think is going to have maybe the best offense that Coach Brahman's had maybe ever. When you look at the pieces and some of the players, I think he gets the most out of Miller Moss. So all that to say, it feels like it's a race for third place and who can sneak in, but I do feel like there's some opportunity. And, again, there's so much crossover games that every team's going to have their opportunity to take it if they want it.
Eric Mac Lain, coming to a podcast near you. We'll come up with a name for ours when we start one. Thank you very much. Enjoy the night. I know it's going to be absolute blast over there just off of Edwards Mill. I will talk to you and see you soon.
No doubt, brother. Appreciate you so much. See you soon.
You got it. At Eric Mac Lain on Twitter. All right, we got to rewind when we come back, but we haven't. Remember, at the start of the program, I actually had 5 stories I wanted to get to. We're going to run through all 5 because we didn't get to story 5. And story 5 is the most fun of all the stories. In a rewind next.
From the heels,
touchdown, Carolina,
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Turning 65 soon, navigating Medicare can be overwhelming and confusing, but you're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help. SHIP counselors can help you understand Medicare benefits to make your best choices. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And FanDuel is giving you a reason to lock into the college football season early. And right now, new customers can bet $5 on any bet. If you win, you will get $300 in bonus bets. That's right. Bet $5 on any game. You walk away and win it. Walk away with $300 in bonus bets. That's their money. Nothing is better than wagering with somebody else's money. And FanDuel's easy to use. It's safe. And when you win, it's there in your account. I occasionally win, and it does show up. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Get started. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Make this your best summer yet by having fun while staying active and engaged. AARP can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
This is Adam Gold.
Steve Bettman take all that time to walk out, then to see the pick, bro hug no less than 20 guys on his way up there. And then this draft house, they just moved this wall like the Price is Right. I don't know.
It's a showcase showdown back there.
I know.
That would be great. So we should spin a wheel,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Today's been super fun. We've done a ton. We started off with Dave Harding. Talk a little Duke Elon tonight. Stephen Igo joined us from Hoist the Colors. Pirates are in town to take on NC State. 7 o'clock tonight. Trip Tracy joined us as well. We talked a little Hurricanes hockey. And I look forward to him coming back to town like in, a week and a half. 10 days, as soon as Frank and he are done with their 47-mile walk every day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I should have asked, are he and Frank planning to walk back from Detroit?
I know, because they've basically been doing that.
Unreal. And thanks to Derek Afina, the head baseball coach at Garner, Nolan McLean from the Mets, 3-0. On the season, 0.89 ERA. So the stat that they were pushing out for a while is that, it's only 2 pitchers in Mets history have been like 3-0 in their first 3 starts and an ERA under a 1.5. And the other is Tom Seaver, who passed recently, but behind Greg Maddux, Roger Clemens, and, in my opinion, Pedro Martinez. I mean, he's one of the top 4 right-handed pitchers in the history of the game. And Nolan McLean's off to a great start. Nobody's suggesting he's going to be that. It'd be awesome if he was, but my gosh, he has been actually the impetus for the Mets turnaround. So, with all that said, I feel like a rewind. I mentioned 5 stories. We're going to try to get to all 5 right here. Story 1, game night tonight. 7 o'clock, Carter Finley Stadium for NC State and East Carolina. Second straight meeting, coming back off of the Military Bowl clash, which was a 26-21 Pirates win. I mentioned that, and I think we talked about, it was in a soundbite, I think, with Dave Doeren. It's not the first time that the Pirates and Wolfpack closed one season and opened another, the next one. But that's what's going to happen. It actually happened a little bit ago, a few years ago. Pirates have won their share of these games. Now, they won both bowl matchups, the Peach Bowl way back in the day in the 90s, and this one last year. State had won 3 in a row, but East Carolina has been no pushover. 19-14. State leads the overall, series, which dates back to 1970. Coming off of last year, look, State's the better team. They've got the better personnel. But I don't know that it's egregious. I don't know that it's an enormous difference. And for East Carolina to have a returning quarterback that they trust and a coaching staff which should have been energized based on the way they finished last season. And in talking to Stephen Igo about it, the fact that there was some freedom given back to the offense after last season, and the Mike Houston era just couldn't quite get there. And this is not to say that Mike Houston isn't and won't again be a wonderful coach, because his pedigree said we win. It just wasn't happening. Sometimes it doesn't. So I think the Pirates will keep this close. I think their defense should be pretty good. I think the Wolfpack will be good too, not just tonight, but going forward. But I see this game in the mid-20s, and I think it is a one-possession game. I don't know, maybe State, tacks on a touchdown late and wins by 10 or 12, but, man, covering 14.5, I think that is a tall order. Duke hosts Elon at Wallace Wade Stadium. Remember, Manny Diaz was on with us a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him a question about, does it bother you that nobody seems to give you any respect? No, we don't worry about that kind of stuff. And then in the coach's show the other night, he went and said, it's like being in the friend zone. It's insulting to pick us 6.
You saved it for that, not here?
All right, exactly. I asked Dave Harding from the Duke Radio Network, take me inside the mind of a player, because he was a player at Duke. Do you care about those things?
Yeah, I mean, Duke is firmly in the friend zone of ACC media. That's a fact. Getting picked right there, the top middle of the pack. I think you do care as a player. And I'm going back to think about 2013. It just so happens we were picked dead last in the conference, and that definitely played a role in our motivation. Now, do I think that the results would have been different if we were picked 6th or 7th? No. But it was definitely something that we talked about in the locker room and added to the chip on our shoulder. And in my conversations with Manny over the past couple of weeks, that's kind of been a consistent theme. It's talking about the chip on the shoulder of this team, but more so on all the different individuals that make up this team. And there are a bunch of players that were maybe told they're too small, not fast enough, any one of those things. And I mean, let's face it, Duke is a developmental program long term. So you're going to have guys that maybe were passed up from the top tier blue chip programs and coming to Duke. And when that happens to you, I think it does, instill a little bit of salt in the way that you go about things. And so all you have to do is stir that up a little bit, let the media narrative dig up some emotions, and you can use that to fuel the way that you go about the season. And I think it also works the other way. When thinking about Clemson, perennially pick the favorite. I think that does just as much as getting picked last does, and that you've got this flag to bear as one of the best. There's more of a pressure, I suppose, associated with that. But as much as I'd like to say these media prognostications don't really matter all that much, I think they do.
It would be great if Duke used that as fuel. Of course, we could sit all day and debate whether or not being picked sixth in a 17-team league is shade. But whatever you got to do, I think Duke's got a challenging schedule. And we talked in that interview, which is available in the Adam Gold Show podcast, if you will. But we talked about the first part of the schedule. I mean, it could be great for Duke, and it could go the other way. Back-to-back games, Illinois here, Tulane in New Orleans. Those are hard games. If you told me that Duke was going to be, let's just dream for a second. If you told me that Duke was going to be 5-0 through their first 5 games of the season, I would tell you it wouldn't be the dumbest thing in the world to think about, Duke could end up in the ACC title game. Wouldn't be the dumbest thing if they are at that point through 5 games, because Tulane is going to be good. You're going down there. Illinois is ranked. Illinois is, I think, 12th in either the coaches or the media poll. All right, item 2. Chances of us getting through 5 just does not exist. We might skip to the end here in a minute. All right.
Yeah.
All right, come on, because I can't shut up. Panthers beginning the post-Adam Thielen era. 11 days from now, they will open up the season in Jacksonville. They made the move yesterday. So, Dave Canales, head coach, how do the Panthers benefit from this trade?
Yeah, I think it's just obviously what was exchanged in the, just in the details of the agreement. I think that's going to help us for a team that we're building and for our future. So we feel great about that part. And then I think it's just that receiver room, that continued to impress me, in different ways, different guys. And now the opportunity for guys like Jalen Coker, like Bryson Tremaine, David Moore, Jimmy Horn, these guys to step up and to find a huge void, a role that needs to be filled. And so, again, I think competition brings the best out in all of us, and here's another opportunity for us to compete for that. And we felt strongly enough about a young, talented group that we can do that. And I got to give credit to Rob Moore, who's really poured into this young group and really developed these guys, in the last year. And so, I just Keyshawn Coleman is nonstop with these guys, and so I just really feel great about where that group is at, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
I think it's telling that he mentioned Jalen Coker first, because for my money, it's his emergence that allowed them to part with Adam Thielen, even though I'm still against having done it. I don't think they brought in enough to make you go, oh yeah, we got to do that. But I do think that if you consider that it is more than likely a scenario which would have seen Adam Thielen have a reduced role than he did a year ago because of Coker's emergence, well, it allows you the luxury of making this move. Here's Bryce Young on what he saw from Coker.
It was just great to watch him last year, just come into his own, get more and more reps, get more comfortable in the system. Someone that we feel super confident in, whatever his role is, and playing, all the positions again. Everything's new, so the coaching staff decides his role is what everyone's role is. It'll be something we decide ongoing, but from there all the way till now in the off season, you just see more of him coming out. He's not having to think about plays and what to do, but being able to be the dynamic playmaker he is, him be able to bring all that he does to the game. So we're excited to continue to watch him grow. And
I will just point out to some stuff that was written at the Panthers website, Darren Gant and company. They do an amazing job. And yes, I know it's a team website. You're going to get only the good things, but there are some cool personal stories there about how Thielen looked at Coker because both were undrafted free agents. And there was a mutual respect and synergy that they had, which I assume, Coker will take into the next part of his career. And all that stuff is there. Okay, I'm skipping to the end since we have to use it. So, we don't have anything like what they have in international soccer here in the United States. We have, in some ways, we have a U.S. Open Cup, but Major League Soccer, the highest level of soccer here in the U.S., basically dumps on it, and it's frankly embarrassing. But so let's not even go there. Remember when App went to Michigan and won?
Oh yeah,
right. Remember the David and Goliath element that we all felt when App went and pulled off a stunning upset? Never mind that Michigan was terrible. There is an analogy here. But yesterday, Manchester United in the Premier League, the New York Yankees of English soccer, went to a place called Grimsby Town, which is on the far east coast of England, somewhat north. Small town, 9,000 seat stadium it's called the EFL Cup. It's got a corporate sponsor, but it's just the League Cup. Second round match, which Premier League teams enter only if they fail to play in any European competition. And there's 3 of them. Manchester United finished 16th or 15th last year. Well down. Anyway, Manchester United is never supposed to lose to Grimsby Town. It went into penalties, and here is one of United's top signees trying to keep the penalties going.
Guemo hasn't been under that pressure yet, but now he is. He has to score, remember. Listen to the noise from the Grimsby fans. And Guemo off the crossbar! Grimsby have beaten Manchester United in the most dramatic circumstances. It is Blundell Park, Bedlam. Christy Pibb is engulfed. And Guemo hit the crossbar. And Grimsby go through. Manchester United astonishingly beaten.
Unbelievable scenes at, I don't even know the name of what the stadium is called. It seats 9,000. This would be Clemson going to Lenoir-Rhyne and losing. I'm not kidding. It is that big of a disparity in terms of the salaries that one team's got, the level of football. It's the 4th tier of English football, and Grimsby was mid-table. Here's Christy Pym, who is the goalkeeper who scored and won in penalties.
Yeah, it's not sunk in yet. I'm a Man United fan, so I'm half fuming a little bit.
Are you?
Yeah, I am, yeah. So, nights like this, what you play football for, so yeah.
I'm a Man United fan, so I'm half fuming? What are we doing? That is so good. This was an opportunity for 3.5 minutes to make fun of Man U. Victoria, thank you very much. See everybody tomorrow.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Pack Therapy is in session, thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan, alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Glennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.
Plus, special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts, and watch every episode on YouTube.
This is not a drill. It's the biggest truck deal of the year at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Right now, get a massive 25% off all 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab trucks. That's as much as over $16,000 off the power, performance, and style you want in America's go-to truck. Nothing stops Ram. See dealer for details. But hurry, these Rams won't last long at these prices. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington for the Make This the Summer event.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by 18%.